Hi.
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 It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. What was that? Stained?
Sure.
I think so. Stained. I almost said Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, God, why am I blanking? Aaron Lewis and Stained. It's been a while. Welcome in. Good morning. Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Good.
How was your holiday?
It was great.
It's funny because you guys did all this yesterday.
Yeah.
Well out of place.
But it was great.
Was great. And
How was yours?
It was
That's
fine.
not what you said last time,
What? Never mind.
Jason.
What?
It was fine.
Yeah?
It was great. The voice you heard there, well, maybe you didn't hear. I never know. Chris will sneak in on our IFB sometimes, our internal feed, where you guys can't hear what he's saying. And I never know. So sometimes I'll react to Chris. And you guys didn't hear him. So that makes me sound like a crazy.
Yeah.
But Chris is here wearing his Cardinals t-shirt.
No.
Los
Carnales.
Carnales.
The play on Cardinals.
I got you.
Yeah.
I don't remember you being a Cardinals guy. Is that just a shirt?
Yeah.
Okay.
He loves St. Louis.
I remember, if I remember right, Chris had one. I have a lot of respect for old beaten-up hats.
You too?
Yeah, it shows, everybody generally in their life has had a hat that just, it fits right. It's perfect. Fits your head.
Is that one?
Yes, actually, but it's not old and beaten up yet. But I do have some old beaten up ones, and you keep it forever.
Yeah.
It stinks. You run it through the washer a few times. It's got the big sweat band around it.
Do you wash your hats like that?
I don't. I even have a little hat washer my wife got, but I don't know. Chris had a Red Sox hat. He wore
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah. I always thought it was attached to the head, but now he's got a good head of hair. He just does. He shows off the hair now.
It was the longest time Chris never went hatless.
Yeah. Him in that hat.
Yeah, him in that hat. Imagine being somebody who wears a hat every day.
Right.
But what happened to that Red Sox hat?
I want to say I had trying to think of how to say it. I thought I was going to be bald because all of my family is bald.
Okay.
So my thinking was just wear a hat all the time. So once you go bald,
No one will know.
no one will notice. Then once I got to about 30, I'm like, oh,
You're not bald.
Looks like it's still there.
It's not going to happen.
Maybe I grow this out.
Now, that happens on your mother's side, right?
Allegedly, right? Your mother's dad.
Yeah,
correct?
that's not true though.
Is that a tail?
Yeah,
Ah.
How do we know?
Yeah, how do we know?
because I would say I have my grandpa on my dad's side hair.
Okay.
Both of my parents' families have horrific hair.
Horrific as in bad, like they go bald?
Yeah. Like my dad didn't go bald, but like,
Wow, being bald is horrific. Wow. Shots fired, Jason.
Yeah.
like, could you imagine that?
Ugh.
Like, if I was bald and I couldn't eat shellfish, what's even the point of living?
He's going for the. Just to be clear, I'm not a part of that, right? Like, I am not. I'm standing in front of you.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I
think it was one of those where he just talked to you in the IFB.
I've said this. I've said this before. I think publicly. I see old station photos, like when I first started coming here, and you had a huge coif.
Yeah, big old wig.
Dark hair.
Yeah.
I think you look better now.
Hey, thanks.
I do.
When Jason feathered it for a bit,
Yeah.
I think that was his best.
I mean,
The feathered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be clear, Jason didn't look bad with hair at all. I think you look better now. I truly do. I think if I was and of course I would be your style consultant, because, and you said, would you snap your fingers and go back to a feathery coiffed Jason or bald and bearded? Bald bearded, bro.
Bald and bearded, bro.
Bald beard, bro.
Beautiful.
Triple B.
Yes.
Yeah. And you look fine with that hat too, Chris.
Looks
Thank
good.
you.
Looks good on you, though.
Yeah. So, yeah. We went to the country.
Oh, did your trip get off to a good start?
Ha ha!
Because I know when you've gone to the country before, you had Wi-Fi issues that one
Uh-huh.
year. Is it the same place or a different place?
Different place. This is Airbnb Adventures. We were in on a 22-acre ranch in the middle of it. And it was in Calaveras.
Were you doing ranch stuff?
We did at one point because we brought the kids and a couple we always
Yeah!
go. Very much so. That was a morning yaw, by the way. It was like a kind of a gravelly. Yeah. We at one point, because we had 4 kiddos there, all the same age. At one point, we created an obstacle course because the whole thing was no tablets, no phones.
That's good.
Oh my God!
What do we do?
Oh my God!
How do we live?
How did you deal with that?
Huh?
How did you deal with
Oh,
that?
no, Dad can do it.
I said no
This is for the kids.
Please. Although my wife did bring that at one point. She's like, you're playing slots. And you just got done yelling at Avery about wanting her tablet. I was like, well, that's an excellent
but I'm
point.
winning a lot of money. A lot of fake money.
I just got the special fish to let me in the drawing. Shut up.
You got to understand.
You got to understand.
Go back to herding the goats.
So this is sometimes on radio that was my dad always say, gild the lily, which I think means to exaggerate. This is not one of those. We create this.
It meant something else.
We create when you're you mean
Yeah.
So we created like an Olympics for the kids to get them out of the house to do stuff, and the I think I'll get most of the events. The way it starts is there was a horse,
Of course,
and it was on one side of the part of the property we were at, and it was in its little big. I say a pen. It was like acres of acreage.
Yeah.
But it's behind the gate, and you start by feeding the horse a carrot, and as soon as the horse takes the carrot, timer starts, right? So what we do is we did 4 individual, right? And then once all 4 were done, we would take the times, best time, worst time, middle times, and then we'd stagger them out for teams. So it was qualifying, and we had a podium. It was like The Office. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So we had the oldest kid go first, and it was feed the horse a carrot. Then you had 8 horseshoes, and you just basically had to throw horseshoes until you hit the bar. You didn't have to get a ringer, but you just had to hear a clink, and then you move on. You move on, and then there's a fishing pole that we cast out with a bobber on it, and you have to reel it in as fast as you can until the bobber gets to the end of the pole. And then you move on. Boom. We have like adults at every station, right? And then you move down, you run down the hill, and then there's poles, these stands with plastic bottles on them, and we have super soakers. You got to fill the super soaker up. You got to knock the bottle off, and then the other one off. Then you go into, because they do weddings there when they're not Airbnb-ing.
You have to get married.
You have to get married, yes. We went into like the little bar, or I don't know how to describe it. It's this building with a serving place, counter, whatever. And we have different things set up. You have 6 dice, and you have to roll the dice, and every time you roll a 6, you put it aside until all the dice have been 6s. And then,
Gotcha.
you move on. And then you eat a marshmallow, and then once you're done with the marshmallow, you drink a glass of water, and then you move on to the next thing. Well, the first kid, very competitive like my son, and he is jamming through the whole thing. And in order to save time, he decides, I'm just going to swallow the marshmallow.
I can hear Chris.
Let me tell you something. That was a scary situation.
Yeah.
Because when we finally realized it was me and it was his mom that were down there, when she said, hey, Dave, and I look and I see the kid is actually, he's choking, full on choking.
Like it's one of the big.
It wasn't like a huge marshmallow, but dude just screamed and was like, it was right there. And like when you think about Chris, you're laughing,
yes,
and it's off air, and I'm pointing you out because if you were there, you would not be laughing. I was not laughing at first. So when all of a sudden I see kid is choking, it's a very scary moment.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, this is a marshmallow. Like, it's sticky and it's
that's
not
something that clears.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, oh my God, they say you never want to reach in there, but you've also got a panicked kid.
Right.
And so I turn him around and I get ready to I'm getting ready to Heimlich. But I also know if I Heimlich this kid, this thing people don't remember about Heimlich. You Heimlich a kid you might crack a rib.
Sure.
Like, it is not a pleasant experience. Anyways.
And that's not part of this obstacle
course. One of the obstacle course was not almost choked to death. Yeah. So I spin the kid around, I get him in position, and right right when I'm about to Heimlich, kid spits out the marshmallow. Thank God. Oh my God. Needless to say, kid disqualified himself from the rest of the
he's
tournament.
out.
He is out of his own fruition.
He didn't get to the podium.
He did not get to the podium, and he was a preseason favorite.
Yeah.
So that kind of put a damper on the whole. Like we had a speaker with a microphone that we had brought for the kids if they want to do like little kid karaoke or something. Like we did all that we could to try to encourage no tablets. So I was like out there announcing, like it was a big thing, man. We put a lot of work into this. And then the very first one, we literally almost killed one of our kids. So anyways, he's out. We ended up finishing it with the other kids. We decided to do away with the marshmallow part. Yeah, we removed the marshmallow eating. You finish the marshmallow, you drink the water. Well, in this case, you just drink the water. You we had a baseball bat. You got to spin 10 times.
And you added juggling knives.
Actually, lit chainsaws.
Yes, good.
And then you got to throw a cornhole into the thing, and then you're done. Anyways, it was a fine event. We also exposed our kids for the first time to some. I hate working with Chris so much.
It's a near-death experience.
We got to go here. They had a little place where you could watch movies outside. They had a little pond. And so my kids don't do well with spooky, scary movies. So we watched Lost Boys. By the way, Lost Boys doesn't really hold up. Really cheeseball movie. We all ended up laughing at it. Like when did you see the movie?
Yeah,
long time ago. Vampire gets thrown into the speaker.
But it seemed cool then.
It was in the 80s. It was so cool back then.
This is an awesome movie.
Not cool anymore.
I don't think I've seen it since.
It's not great. Okay. We saw The Village, M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was, yeah. And then finally on the last night, the kids were begging for a comedy. We kind of shelter our kids a little bit. Like, I admit that we kind of lean on the side of shelter. I don't know how we went from shelter to Austin Powers Gold member, but we did.
I like girl.
Oh, my God. Boy, is that an uncomfortable... I'm just praying that half of the comedy went over my kids' heads. Because there are some references in there, I guess, I really didn't even remember.
I used to think you were crazy.
I can see. Yeah. Their favorite part was, remember when it was Austin Powers and Mini-Me, and they're behind the screen.
Yeah, the shadows.
Feeding him an apple. Yeah, my kids were crying during that. Not in a I'm choking to death way, but in I'm laughing way. So anyways, that was my vacation trip. Anyways, good to be back. And golly, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Golly.
We're going to revisit a lot of this today. I haven't had a chance to be on the air since Brian Windhorst became a legend. Yeah, that's going to be used for a long time. The Kings have new members. Wait, what?
Gold members.
Gold members. Is Keegan Murray, do we put him in the Hall of Fame now? I don't even know.
It's already happened.
Yeah. And updates on Vegas as well as we go to defend the chip.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Leading off is next.
Here's Herter now. Off the bounce, pull up at the elbow is good. And the carnage continues. It's now 81-53.
LeBron James still guarded by Damian Jones. Here comes the screen. LeBron doesn't use it. Now he does. Kings switch back to the corner to Monk. He's killed the Kings. He does again. A corner three for Malik Monk, his 6th from downtown. LA up 2.
It's a little heavy. He killed the Kings, and now we have him. I guess you can't beat him, sign him.
Yes.
Malik Monk is a Sacramento King.
Yeah.
Hey, good signing.
Yes.
Probably.
And the Kevin Herter trade happened right after we finished our show on Friday.
Yeah. It tends to happen that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Kevin Herter is also a, what do they call him, Red Velvet?
Yes.
Not bad. The Kings have, when Monty says he's going to do something, I guess believe him, because he said from day one, when it came to this offseason, day one, I'm adding shooting. We need shooting. You can see what the blueprint is. Fox, Sabonis, and surround them with shooters.
Mm-hmm.
You've got both of them. Fox can operate around the circle, and obviously can operate very well down low. Sabonis is, as the nickname says, an ox down low, and they just surround him with shooters.
Right.
And there you go. Well, he's done that. You got a lot of shooters. Now, we've talked about defense. Oh, and by the way, Keegan Murray.
Yes.
Which we'll get to.
Looks pretty darn smooth.
Wow, huh? Yeah, that was interesting. The Kings, when was the last time did the Kings lose in Summer League last year? They went undefeated, didn't they?
They did in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if they did in the California Classic.
Right, I don't know that they did either, but I'm saying, what was it, like 9 games in Vegas? There wasn't 9 games.
No, I don't think they played that many. But
5,
still,
6?
yeah, something like that, 5 or 6.
Yeah, so they're on like a 9-game offseason winning streak right now.
They're really good in the offseason.
Yeah, really good in the offseason.
And remember last year they had a perfect preseason.
That's right.
This regular season stuff gets in the way.
Oh, people try to win in the regular season.
Yeah,
That's
what's the
fine.
point?
What's the point of all that?
Yeah.
Keegan Murray looked wonderful, okay, and wonderful in the 3 games he played. We'll talk about that, too. Kings have brought in 2 new members in Malik Monk and Kevin Herter, and that's great, too. And off to Summer League.
Yes.
Starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
You'll be there.
I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah, Summer League Vegas starts today. Kings don't play till Saturday. But, yeah, we're going to be down there for a couple shows next week.
You'll be down there, Frank. You'll be there. I arrive on Sunday. And, by the way, I want to let you know, coverage of the 2022 Summer League brought to you by our good friends at Power Business Technology. Find them online at powercopiers.com. And we will be doing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday shows out there as well.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll be keeping you covered on everything. It's arguably the best time of the year for the Sacramento Kings.
Yes.
When they win.
And I know you have done this personally. You've looked at the weather reports, correct?
Yeah. It's terrible, dude.
Like 100's hot, but it's north of 110. Like, isn't it like 112 for a couple days?
Yeah, I want to say it's like 111 the day we get there. I mean, obviously it changes every day a little bit, and it's not like it's going to be like super. It's going to be 104 on Monday here, so that helps a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But dude, Sunday it'll be 111, Monday 112, Tuesday 113, Wednesday 111.
But it's a dry heat.
It is. It's not so much the heat; it's the heat.
Why can't Summer League be in Hawaii? They don't have an NBA team. Why wouldn't you do that? Players would love it. You don't have to worry about casinos and, all the things that Vegas.
Yeah, but the gym's 70 degrees.
Yeah, but then you step out and you blow up into a big fireball.
You do. Yeah.
True or false? You'd rather have Summer League in Hawaii.
Rather? Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why not?
But I like Vegas.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You like Vegas?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chris?
And Murph is there.
Yeah, Murph is there. Do you like Vegas? You've been to Vegas.
Yeah, I like Vegas.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Golly.
You could always find something to do there.
Yes.
There's something for everybody.
Okay, so if it's Vegas and it's 70, do you not like Vegas? Or you just don't like Vegas?
I like Vegas more when it's 70.
Okay, so it's more about the heat.
I'm just not a Vegas guy.
Okay.
There's gambling everywhere. I'm not very good at that.
Okay.
I like the food.
Okay.
It's very crowded.
Yeah.
It's just, but I like the basketball.
Right.
That's why we go. I mean,
yeah. And super convenient. The 2 gyms are connected. You just
Yes.
don't even have to go outside. You can walk between the 2 gyms.
Thomas and Mack and Cox.
Yeah.
Both connected right to each other. We'll be down there all week long. Number 2.
I really, truly, honestly have no regrets of my time in Cleveland, of what I tried to give to that place.
Right.
And true Clevelanders and true Browns fans know that. I feel disrespected, 100%, because I was told one thing and they completely did another. That's what I'm in the middle of right now. And you know what? Okay, I got my taste of it because I've had 4 different head coaches in 4 years, a bunch of different coordinators. Talk about the highs. They always come back.
Baker Mayfield, now a Panther. He was a Brown.
Yeah.
Now he's a Panther. What a weird start to a career. I'm old enough to remember when Baker Mayfield shot up the boards.
A surprise number 1 pick.
Nobody had Baker Mayfield number 1 until about a week before the draft. Then Baker flies up the boards, goes number 1, and oh, by the way, boy, did that look like the right pick.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to help lead. Remember when Cleveland had those, those Bud Light coolers everywhere all over the city that were supposed to open the moment they won their first game after their God knows how long losing streak? And then they go to the playoffs. And Baker Mayfield was a huge part of that. You got Mayfield, you have Nick Chubb, you have Myles Garrett. You have a number of playmakers on that team. But the whole Deshaun Watson thing, here we go. And we're going to talk about that later because obviously here locally, how does that affect Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners, if it does at all? And secondly, not to get in my Brian Windhorst voice here, but is it a little strange that like the week it sounds like the Deshaun Watson punishment's going to come down, that's when they trade Baker Mayfield?
Odd timing. And part of it makes you wonder about that whole situation. Like, what do they know? Will they regret that?
Right.
In the sense of, who will actually be quarterback if Watson gets the suspension that a lot of people think?
That's what I'm thinking. I think there's a lot to talk about with this, and I do think it affects the 49ers, and I do think there's some I don't think it's just a coincidence that they just happened to trade him this week. We'll get into more of that later, especially at 7:27. We'll tie that back to the Niners. Number 3.
The Angels need every bit of it. The 0-2 swing and a miss, and he got him.
That's next level Shohei Ohtani. When you have that guy in scoring position, the next level 0-2 punch out with a slider. 10 on the night.
That's 10K Segoy.
Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, the biggest attraction in baseball, right?
I guess, but the problem is there are more and more baseball fans. Like, you were a baseball fan. You have said you haven't been into the season. You'll get there when the playoffs come around. They won't be there again.
No.
Right? Isn't that their problem? So if you've got the biggest draw in the game and another one that on the same team might be the best player in baseball, in Trout, there's 7 games below 500. If you never see him when it matters, then it's painful. Now, he's still great.
Sure.
He's awesome.
Take away the Yankees. Any player on any team you could pay to see. Would it be Ohtani right now?
I mean, I love the outlier. Like, he does something no one else is doing or has done.
I don't know why, but it made me think we don't cover enough the Asian influence on baseball over the last 20 years and how amazing it's been. Really, actually 25, because the only comparison between Ohtani and Ichiro, for example, is where they played ball earlier. They're different players. They're completely different players. But I don't think the Japanese leagues get enough respect. I don't think the Asian leagues get enough respect. I think the Korean league right now, weirdly enough, the Korean league is probably as, if not more interesting to me than Major League Baseball right now, just because of the innovation and the things they're doing. And what Ohtani is going through right now, it really does kind of remind me, and although he's been in the league a while longer, but do you remember when Ichiro came over? It was like, okay, yeah, you got your hits in the Japanese league. Like, you're going to play big boy baseball now. And then he comes over, he wins MVP. His rookie year, he wins MVP and rookie of the year, and was throwing dudes at, like, his arm was a cannon. Yeah. Like, Ichiro was and he played in a time with a lot of really, really good players. But for a while, Ichiro was the main event for a lot of people. And guess what? He played a lot of those years for the Seattle Mariners. It's a similar situation that we're very rarely, if at all, relevant. So it's an interesting conversation. I think Ohtani's wonderful. I think it's actually very, very cool. Paul on the YouTube chat says the Lost Boys does hold up. No, it does not. Bro, Go watch it. Trust me, it does not. Unless you're like laughing the whole time, it does not hold up. And I love that movie. We'll take a break. Hey, has Kevin Durant brought everything to a standstill in the NBA? Yeah, we got Summer League coming up. I'll tell you why that's not necessarily the case. This thing's going to break here pretty soon. We'll do that next.
You know they've been here for a combined 50 years. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports 1140.
This whole Kevin Durant trade thing is a bother. It's a bother. Well, what's going on?
Everybody's waiting.
Well, and the thing is, and don't make the mistake, not you, but I mean in general, almost every team knows they have no chance. But there's a bonanza for two teams here, potentially. Well, really three. The Nets, and whatever they get back. The team that gets Kevin Durant.
Right.
But there's almost certainly going to be a third team.
I think that's what's the hold.
Yeah.
Because, right, like, let's take the Kings, for example.
Sure.
They're not a player in this.
Not at all.
Unless they become that third team that somebody needs to move somebody or a salary or something, and I don't know if the Kings will be, but I think a lot of people are on hold here.
You have Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, all kind of orbiting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just some, you add that into like the weird storylines of, it sounds like James Harden has kind of done his thing. He's taken restructured the contract, gonna to allow Philly to do some things. P.J. Tucker was one of those. Ben Simmons is still an enigma.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a very real chance that Ben Simmons may never play a game for the Nets. There may be a situation where, and that's really, and I know there's some eye rolls out there, but if I'm the Kings, I'm taking a look at that. Like, ooh, can I get Ben Simmons cheaper than I could have last year?
Right.
And if you have the ability to do that, now they can't necessarily soak up a ton of money, but I think there are some things that could work, especially when you're dealing with expirings and things like that. They have some room to move there. They've handcuffed themselves, and we'll talk about the Kevin Huerter acquisition here at 7 a.m. There are some things that they've done with that Kevin Huerter move I didn't necessarily like pick-wise, but they still do have a lot of freedom. There's just a lot of teams right now, I think, that are on hold. What's interesting, Jason, we talked about Summer League coming up. This is where a lot of things get done, whether it's right there on the spot or in the future, because you have all the agents, all the executives, everybody's there. They're hanging out underneath you can always see them on TV too. They're hanging out underneath one of the baskets, and there's a large area there, or they're in the back of the stands.
Right.
You can always see them kind of milling around, and they end up talking to each other. It's a really great place to have almost everybody in one spot. And there have been times we've heard before too where maybe you didn't have a GM or a decision maker there, but you had an assistant or you had an agent, and the next thing you know, they're flying in to figure something out. I have a feeling something will get figured out in or around Summer League with all.
Yeah, and it's just the whole thing to me is just it was a bombshell when it first came out that Durant's demanding a trade, wants out. I think plenty of teams would want him, but he's a curious case, right? He's so good, so talented. Why is he never happy?
I don't know.
Seemingly never happy the last couple of stops.
I mean, he helped orchestrate this.
Yeah.
And you have to ask him, what have the Nets done that was it the Harden thing? Because they weren't happy with Harden.
Right. And he was one of the first to kind of call him out once he was gone.
Yeah.
And okay, so they moved on from him. They helped you out there. Apparently it was not a huge fondness for Kenny Atkinson. Okay, they bring in Steve Nash. Right?
Great. Yeah. They did it.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant has
Ben
had
Simmons.
It's just and you saw a little bit of this too a while back with LeBron James. When you allow these superstars to dictate things, there's a reason why superstar players are superstar players and general managers are general managers. Like when you're a player, no matter how, and Kevin Durant is highly cerebral, so is LeBron James. They're very smart dudes. Very smart dudes, and all you have to do is look at what they do off the court business-wise to understand how smart they are. Like LeBron James is a billionaire. Kevin Durant's right behind him.
Right.
And Durant's investments are more of that tech businessy world that he really fell into play. He and his business partner, when they were out here with Golden State, made a lot of money. He's very, very savvy.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you know how to run a basketball team.
No, and I think the other problem with him is he's so good, his contract is so high that if he goes to Miami, if he goes to Phoenix, you basically are gutting those teams.
Yes.
Now, any team with Kevin Durant on it has a chance.
Yes.
And I said this yesterday, Dave. I think, ironically, the one team that can probably afford to do it without gutting the core is the Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do like a Wiseman, Kuminga, future picks, Wiggins, and you still have Steph, Clay. Like, just run that group back.
You're running it back. Now, it's fascinating because Mark Spears really started that flame there. And in thinking about it over the break, on one hand, it makes perfect sense. As a matter of fact, it was 4th of July, what was it, 16?
Yeah.
That Durant signed with the Warriors. It makes sense, but then also, if you're Bob Myers and you're Joe Lacob, you're completely decommitting to one of the things that I really, really admire about how they've run that franchise. While they're winning championships, they're also piecing together a future. Wiseman, who we is still very much an unknown, but there's a reason why he was the number 2 pick in the draft, and we've seen flashes of brilliance from him. Obviously, Jordan Poole. We don't necessarily know what Moses Moody is, but we do seem to think Jonathan Kuminga is going to be a very, very interesting player. So that's 4 young players right there that they have simultaneously been able to build around while still keeping that Clay, Dre, Steph core together. They would be completely decommitting from that. And the question becomes, I mean, honestly, is it worth maybe a title or 2 extra in order to have to completely start over that future? Do you take the title where you can get the title? But by the way, they won a title without Kevin Durant last year.
Right.
So what do they need Kevin Durant for? It's going to be easier.
Sure. You become that much more of a threat. This year, I know, but in the end they won. I think it was pretty difficult for them.
Yeah.
But they won it. So I just think the fact that high profile of a player is out there and is such a game changer for any franchise that adds him, who's going to do it? Who's going to get it done? Or could the Nets actually bring him back and keep it going? Can you do that? You don't have to trade him, but how disgruntled is he? What are the behind-the-scenes communications going on with Durant's agent, and the front office?
There's got to be a way to make it more punitive. And I really hope that they discuss this in the next collective bargaining agreement session. There's got to be a way to make it more punitive when players want to force their way out.
Yeah, and I said this to Chris yesterday. We haven't really had this situation in Sacramento. Like, it's fun for us to oh, wow, Durant could end up on the Heat, on the Suns. Imagine him on this team. What if he was here?
Right.
And he was our guy, and he was our star, and you have one of the best players, and all you're hearing is he wants out.
Yeah.
Like, that's awful.
It's
now,
terrible.
We obviously would have a good team, and he had been a good player, sure. But that's rough and you just, I don't know. It's fun to have all the conversations, but I don't know if this is great for the league.
I don't think it is. I don't think anyone would think it's great for the league. Now, I'm all for player empowerment. I'm all for players being able to say it's their lives. I get it.
But he already chose Brooklyn.
He chose Brooklyn.
And chose this setup, and then it hasn't gone beautiful. It hasn't been awful, but they haven't won a title. They only won the one playoff series. But I think they'd have every chance to compete if they bring it back.
Yes,
bring the whole thing back,
which is really kind of sad. I want to see a Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons. Like, oh my God, what a core!
Yeah,
you could make an argument, and probably a losing argument. But who has a better 3-person core than that? I mean, Clay, Dre, Steph.
Yeah, based on history, sure.
Yeah. My God, though, like that's a conversation. I don't know that there's a better 3-person core, 3-play, and that's allowing for Ben Simmons to be normal Ben Simmons and I'm not going to play, and I don't care Ben Simmons. Even with Ben Simmons' shortcomings, that is, even in Kyrie and KD alone, you arguably have 2 of the top 10 players in the league. You have one of the best on-ball defenders in the league, and you just surround them with whatever. That's an instant title. Why would you want to break that up? I don't know. It's a problem that I wish the Sacramento Kings could have.
Yes.
Because that means we'd actually have those players. Speaking of brand new Kings players, Keegan Murray, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? That's what we'll be discussing all day. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer already? How impressive was the new prize rookie for the Sacramento Kings? We'll talk about that next.
stimulating conversation about kitchen gadgets and baseball cards.
I think that's really crazy interesting.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports 1140.
It is a paradox with Kings fans when it comes to Summer League.
Pair of ox?
A pair of ox or a paradox. I am trying so hard to force myself to not go overboard about Keegan Murray because I get inundated with graphics like, what was it, Anthony Bennett or Randolph? One of the Anthonys. Like, all the players in the past, rookies, that have done these amazing things in Summer League.
Sure.
And then they go on to not really do amazing things.
Dante Green had that 43-point game in Summer League.
God, Dante had a great game. I remember that game, too. And it's a paradox because on one hand, I try to bring myself back down to earth. And I know I'm speaking for a lot of Kings fans. Like, you try to bring yourself back down to earth. Okay, it's Summer League. He's playing against Summer League competition. People are trying to stand out. They're trying to do their thing. And then on the other hand, I'm like, why not get excited? So what? If you get excited about Keegan, I mean, really get excited. Like, we've got ourselves a guy here. And let's just say worst case scenario, I guess, he's Marvin Bagley, right? Part due. Okay, well, did you restraining your emotions make it any easier when and if he did fail? No, I don't think it. I think it would still hurt. So why not just enjoy the ride while it's going? Okay, well, if he ends up sucking or not being great, then fine. He sucks and he's not great, and rinse and repeat and move on. I'm going to side Jason, which is unlike me generally. I'm going to side on the positive here. What did you want out of him? You wanted him to look like he was the best player on the floor.
Which he did.
Yeah,
he accomplished that.
Consistently looked like the best player on the floor in even in that second game.
His stats weren't as good, but you could still tell I think the way I look at it is he gets it. He knows what he's doing. He looks comfortable. And then I just plug and play in my mind, Dave, put him with Fox.
Yes.
Sabonis, Barnes, all these other pros, and you're like, yeah, he'll fit in just fine.
Yes.
He looks the part.
D on the YouTube chat. Is that D or Dean? Because they have the same avatar there. How come Oklahoma City's playing Josh Giddey in Summer League, but we have Mitchell on the bench? He gets him right. Honestly, I thought about that too. I saw Giddey playing. Listen, Oklahoma City's coming for the chip, man.
Sure. Well, who was Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit.
They were bringing like Cade, Sadiq Bey, and I mean that's at least how they had it listed. I'm like, okay, are they going to play one game or a quarter, or are they really if they're bringing that whole squad, they should win easily? But I don't know if.
I know I'm nitpicking, but I have spent a little bit of time over the weekend on this, Jason. Like, why are the Kings not playing Donovan Mitchell, Davion Mitchell? God, David, it's been a year. First off, it's not. I'm going to go ahead and venture a guess that Davion Mitchell would love to play in Summer League. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'll apologize. But just based on his reputation and the fact that his teams throughout his college and NBA career have had to pull him out of gyms for working too much.
Right.
I can't imagine Davion's like, I don't want to get any run. I don't want to play. It's got to be team oriented, and if it is, why would you not? Why would you not give him a little bit of rundown in Summer League?
Yeah, I guess the argument one is what you said. I think he's just classically known as a guy that works so hard that they have to dial it back. Two, remember he's older, came in NBA ready, and I don't think. Again, I think he got it right away. Now, could any Fox could play? In theory, if you're going, somebody needs more reps. I don't know that he needs them.
Sure.
But would any of that hurt any of the players? No, but it's just kind of a thing that they chose not to do.
That'd be kind of great if they rolled Fox and Sabonis out there.
We're playing them today.
We want to get you guys out there.
They're all here.
Run.
Play them.
What? There were some moments for Keegan Murray. Obviously, the shot was going down for the most part. He does kind of have a weird release, doesn't he?
I didn't notice that as much. Like, you felt he did?
I feel like his shot's a little Listen, it works. Who cares?
It's really smooth,
Great.
easy, effortless.
It's just that like classic release.
Yeah.
There's a little, I don't know if there's a twist or a rotation there that I was picking up on that was kind of unique. But there was a moment in who did they play their last game? Was it the Lakers? Who was the last game against? It was the Lakers, the Heat. Didn't it go Warriors, Heat, Lakers?
Yes.
Yeah,
it was
so it was
that
against
order.
the Lakers. And so he converted, then went back on defense, and his conversion was, I believe, it was a low post, right side of the basket kind of turnaround, which is pretty impressive. And the fact that he does everything left-handed but shoot is really going to help him quite a bit. Then he goes down the floor. Lakers throw a lob. He's in the right spot. Not only does he break up the lob, but he comes down with the ball as well off the deflection. And then he proceeds to move the ball up the floor, spin, move, dribble. He actually finds it's a really good pass on the left side with an open player who could have taken that shot. Didn't. Work the ball back up to Murray, who made, I believe it was a three.
Uh-huh.
And I remember looking at that segment and going, wow. Like that, he really kind of showed everything there. It's an IQ. It's an instinct. It's one of those guys, and again, not to put a negative on this. I'm really trying not to, but I couldn't help but think this is I'm getting Halliburton-esque vibes from him on the floor. And you can see that Monty has this pattern that's very clear. He wants smart dudes on the floor that are gym workaholics that really have a great feel for the game, whether it was Davion, Tyrese before him, now Keegan Murray. These are three highly intelligent players that love the gym. You can tell Monty has a type.
I agree. I think, and they've all kind of come in under that label like NBA ready, and they've been able to, for all of their accounts, really come in and be asked to do a lot. Not to save the franchise, but, hey, look, we're going to start you. We're going to play you a lot of minutes, and that's the deal. You have to be able to handle it, and all of them were able to handle it. And I think that's encouraging. I would think something similar is going to happen to Murray.
Yeah.
And, defensively, too, I think that's the one where I know a lot of people automatically go when he had his first, 20-something point game. Yeah, but look who he's playing against. Okay, I look at it the other way. I think offense kind of translate no matter who you're playing against. And I think you even have better options when you're with Fox and Sabonis, where other people are getting featured more than you. But I want to see him guard, the people that he's going to be matched up with in this league. And whether that's some nights, at that 4 position, you might have to guard LeBron or Giannis or Durant. We're talking about some just the legends of the game, and he'll have troubles, but how does he look the part? Does he look like he's ready for those moments? That's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Well, and to be clear, there were a couple times where he got blown by, especially when he was guard. I don't know that he can guard threes, at least not yet.
Yeah.
That's where I think if you want to look for a weakness so far, that in 3 Summer League games and 3 California Classic games, I don't know that he can guard threes right now. It's just that lateral quickness that to keep up with that, but he can guard 4s, and he's a very instinctive defender. You can tell, again, much like Tyrese was. Active hands, getting in passing lanes, anticipating where the ball's going, understanding how the other offense is running, and anticipating where those players are going to be. These are all things that don't necessarily show up on a box score, and then you look down and, he's got 2 steals and he's got 3 plays broken up. Okay, well, that's good for Monty has that type. Sabonis is an incredibly intelligent player as well. De'Aaron doesn't get enough credit for this because it's flash and dunks and he's a blur, but De'Aaron's a very smart player. Mm-hmm. And I think now when De'Aaron comes into the gym, this for me is all shaping up for one thing. This is De'Aaron's year. This is all about De'Aaron now. You brought him really in Sabonis, not exactly, but a little bit about what Vlade hoped Bagley would be. You now have a low post counter to what De'Aaron's doing on the outside, but a better passer.
Yes.
You now have a knockdown shooter at the wing or at the 4. You've added his college buddy and backcourt mate now in Malik Monk, who is a very efficient three-point shooter. Kevin Huerter, very efficient three-point shooter, also a very smart guy.
Yes.
I'm not saying if De'Aaron's not an all-star and if the Kings aren't a deep playoff team, it's on him, because it's not. But I'm saying I think it's fair to say that Fox has more weapons surrounding him now than he has in his career with the Kings. That's a big thing. And now it's, okay, what's he going to do with it?
Right, that's it. Does he take advantage of it? And he's shown the ability to be great and show greatness with less things around him. Now he's got more toys and more weapons and more things that can take pressure off him. Hopefully that really brings out the best of him, but more importantly, the best of the team.
Is De'Aaron Fox still the alpha on this team?
I think so. I don't know. Is it a hybrid of him and Sabonis?
Sabonis?
I feel like it's both of them.
You have to have an alpha.
Yeah.
Can you have a couple of alphas? A build of alphas.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll be, we need to start the season right now, please.
You're ready?
I'm hot.
Yeah.
I'm hot for it. Not too hot, though, because I did get American Energy's $49 tune-up offer a few weeks back. I told you about that. American Energy, local, 916, all that stuff. Support local business, but also don't just do it because they're local. Support them because they've been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. Support them because they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Support them because they're going to do what they need to do to make sure your air conditioner and your heater, by the way. Yes, I understand you don't need your heater right now, but you will in 6 months. They will, as a matter of fact, make sure everything is working smarter and not harder. Right now, that air conditioning tune-up is just $49. You get a free indoor air quality test. All you got to do is ask. And why would you want that? Well, it wouldn't be nice to know what you're breathing? Maybe you're breathing great air, but maybe you need something going on the inside of your house to filter that out. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. AmericanEnergyAir.com. That's AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you. Hey, listen, Kings are welcoming 2 more players. One a free agent, one a trade. Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter. They're the newest Kings. We'll talk about them right after this. 916-339-1140 is your text line. You can watch us on YouTube, Sacktown Sports 1140. From the 916, it's got to be voice to text. Anytime I hear somebody or I read somebody referring to me as Call Michael Dave, that's 3 words. I always thought you hedged on your team losing. That's how you do your fandom. And now you're saying enjoy the ride? That's a doozy. I think that's what they're saying. It says a doxy. I think what this person's trying to ask, and it's fair, is, well, hold on. You usually hedge on the team losing. That's how you protect your heart.
Are you on the hype train?
There's a difference between being on the hype train for Keegan Murray and being on the hype train for the team.
That's true.
There's a big difference there. I'm not trying to come out and say championship and playoffs and blah 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 blah. I can promise you this: after me tweeting last year that the Kings were going to make the postseason and keeping that pinned all year, I'm actually thinking about pinning a tweet that says the Kings will not make the post. Just to try. I'm all for.
You were wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. I am all for whatever reverse jinx, whatever gets this team in the playoffs.
That's it.
And of course, it's going to be a tweet from me. That's what will determine it.
Would you tweet better
if we were in the playoffs?
No, can you to make it? Yes, happen? It's on you.
You're a big guy on Twitter, Dave.
Yeah.
There was no Twitter the last time the Kings made the playoffs.
That is correct. There are no iPhones.
Maybe we get rid of Twitter.
You know, that's actually the notion there is, I believe Twitter actually had existed for like 6 months the last time the Kings were in the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah, I think
just starting
the date of Jack's, whatever it was, testing out my Twitter or something like that. What was it? George W. Bush was the president. No iPhone. Nobody has ever posted on social media about a Kings playoff game.
What will Kings playoff Twitter
I was
look
talking
like?
about it all the time on MySpace.
Were you?
So.
My bad.
What will Kings Twitter look like? Playoff Twitter.
Just a garbage fire of awesome. Kings fans, and understandably so, are going to be the most obnoxious, insufferable fans in the world for a while once they get back into the playoff club. It really and good for them. They should.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's going to be, win a championship. And then if the Kings win a championship, it'll be, we'll win 15. It never ends. And I'm here for that.
Take one would be fine.
We do have breaking news, and it's lame, by the way.
Yeah.
Brittney Griner, if you're not familiar with the story, you should. Basketball superstar was carrying, allegedly, I guess, carrying a vape pen. In Russia, many women's basketball players play over in Russia and other countries to supplement their income in the offseason. She has pleaded guilty in a Russian court. This just happened to drug charges that could see her face 10 years in prison. This is according to Reuters, who is in the courtroom. She said, quote, according to Reuters, and through a translator, I'd like to plead guilty, Your Honor, but there was no intent. I didn't want to break the law. I'd like to give my testimony later. I need time to prepare. I don't, I cannot begin to understand why or what's going on there. She's been charged with intentionally importing narcotics into Russia. She was detained at the airport with vape cartridges containing hashish oil, a substance that is illegal in the country and has been kept in custody since. I hope this is all part of some deal where
plead guilty and you get released.
Yeah, like read a statement about how she was wrong and Russia's great and the United States sucks and blah blah blah.
Send you home.
Yeah, do all that.
I hope so.
And then come home.
Because that's a bizarre, just from the get-go, just how long she's been. It's been since mid-February?
February.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, you're 5 months in a Russian prison right now. Interesting side story, too. I know we're jumping all over the place before we get to Herder and Malik Monk. Just under 12 hours ago, The Athletic reported that Colin Kaepernick is investing in Ice Cube's Big Three League, which was on the verge of potentially shutting down, according to Shams Charania, saying the new deal will help the 3-on-3 competition continue operating and growing. Well, Now, Shams Charania and The Athletic are reporting that Colin Kaepernick has said that he is not investing in the big three, despite sources close to the league saying otherwise. So, interesting. Is it, though? I don't know. I don't know. Is it interesting? I have no idea. Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter are new Sacramento Kings. Malik Monk, free agency. Kevin Huerter via a trade. We'll start with Malik Monk. We talked about this a little bit last week, Jason. Kings get more shooting.
For sure.
Malik Monk's numbers last year in a weird situation.
Yeah, bigger role, though, for him.
Much bigger role. And now you find yourself wondering what the Kings are going to do at that 2 spot, 3 spot.
Yeah.
They've got some options.
We debated that even on Friday, knowing that they had signed Monk, not knowing about Huerter, thinking it was already a good competition. Now you've got, you could make the case for Davion. You could make the case for Terrence Davis.
Yeah.
Certainly for Huerter and Malik Monk.
Yeah. You've got a lot of depth there. 5
total guards probably that all should play some sort of combination. And maybe some, you could play smaller, put someone at the 3, maybe Huerter because he's the tallest of all of them. But, yeah, there's a lot of options there in the backcourt.
And what's interesting is that they have depth at the guard position in Fox and Mitchell, the point guard position. And Malik Monk can play a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure. 2 now is really arguably their deepest. It really is. Huerter, Monk, Mitchell, if he slides over there, Terrence Davis, as you mentioned. Wings are still a little light.
Mm-hmm.
You have Barnes and Murray, and that should be your 3-4. But what do you have beyond that?
Yeah, I think Huerter can be at 3 as well. He's 6'7".
Yeah, you're right.
I think, it depends on matchups, lineups. The league has generally gone a little bit smaller, more guards, less post-type players, or the post play outside the pace and space that the league has become. But, yeah, I would say that could still be something. They do have a couple of exceptions still left, so maybe there's talk about I'm just blanking on his name, but they're meeting with in Vegas from overseas who they acquired on draft day as well.
Sasha, yes.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
A wing-ish type player.
That would help.
Yeah.
Very much interested in how Terrence Davis is going to do this year. Terrence Davis is kind of a forgotten player for this team, but just 25 years old. And there were games last year where you looked at him and went, like against Detroit when he had 35 points. He went on a stretch where he went 14, 17, 35, and 22. He had 28 points versus the Clippers, 23 against the Clippers in back-to-back games on the 1st and 4th of December. When Terrence Davis gets minutes, Terrence Davis tends to do well with those minutes. Not always, but you do wonder if this is a guy that's capable of being a starting 2 in this league.
Right. Just think about now those options of or I think what to me is the ideal situation is we've talked about defense for this team for the better part of 5-6 years.
Yeah.
It's been a trouble spot. It's been a problem. Mike Brown could have the ultimate say here. It's who's going to play defense for him?
Right.
I know all you guys can score. So which one of you is going to play the best defense? That's who's going to get on the floor more.
I really, really hope that happens. I really, really hope that happens, and they have the ability, at least at that 2-3 spot, mainly the 2. They have that ability to have that sort of competition. And that's what they should.
Yeah.
And I hope Mike Brown does that. Like, I would be absolutely okay. With this team coming out of the box a little slower, but with those because that's why Mike Brown's here. He's here for the defense. I'd love it if he did that. I don't think anybody would be angry if a player that you think should be. Whatever. I'm not saying. I'm only saying this because Fox is arguably the best player on the team. But how are you feeling if Davion Mitchell starts game 1? And Brown is asked, he said, honestly, we're just trying to put the best defenders on the floor
no
right
problem
now.
with that.
I don't either. I don't anticipate that.
Right.
I think Fox is a much better defender than we think. But I'd love for that opening practice of preseason to be, hey, we're playing defense. And if you're not playing defense, you don't get any play.
Yeah.
What's up? I'm also keeping an eye on Minnesota. We're going to talk a little bit about more about them in 3 for Madness here in a couple minutes. But there are rumors of a Patrick Beverley buyout. Now, I get it.
With Utah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm since that happened, since he went from Minnesota to Utah, you wonder what Danny Ainge is going to do. Is he going to see if there's some sort of a market? I'm sure he is. But, man, I would be so stoked if there was just a way to do that. I don't know how.
I mean, that's a type of player this team needs, but where's the fit as far as not the fit? Where does the minutes go? Who doesn't play?
Yeah.
Because now you're introducing a 6th guard.
Yeah. That's the problem.
When 5's tough to play.
That's the issue is when you have a guy like Beverly who is 6'1", he is a point guard. He's 33 years old. But for me, it's like, dude, bring him in, overpay him, and whatever. Find 15 minutes a game for him. Find it somewhere. Let him be on that bench. That's one of those guys that you just think it's as much, if not more, the off court, the road trips, the practices, them going out. Remember, the best iterations of this Kings team, of this Kings franchise, have been those 2002 circa teams that were just killing each other in practice and couldn't wait to be unleashed. I don't think you can ever go wrong by adding more talent. And again, for me, the one big thing that Monty did not address, and he can't address everything, is that defense. Keegan Murray is going to help. Mike Brown is going to help. And I think that's how, if you ask Monty, that's how he really addressed that defense. And I think they believe, or they hope, that the Kings have personnel that can play defense. Remains to be seen.
Sure.
But a guy like Patrick Beverley brings in an attitude I just don't think we have right now.
That would be the one thing that's different. I mean, I think they got a lot of good dudes, a lot of guys that have the chip on their shoulder, but a healthy chip, not where it's ego affected or impacted, but more dogs, whatever we
more dogs.
Yeah.
We're going to stop and take a quick 60-second break. When we come back, are the Timberwolves actually a contender? Aaron Rodgers has a really new, weird tattoo. We've got the celebrity golf tournament coming up. We're going to get to that a little bit later, too, in kind of a fun way Jason Ross put together. 3 for Madness, though, is next. All right, we'll break for a little bit of football next. Baker Mayfield going to the Panthers. What does that mean, if anything, for Jimmy G and the 49ers?
James G.
Samuel Amick will join us at 8 o'clock.
I know him.
Yeah, he's a fine young man. We'll talk to him about all the stuff going on over the last week and what could be coming up, including with Kevin Durant, which we talked about earlier. At 7:44, had some audio sent to me I thought was rather interesting and been gone, so I haven't been able to play it. This is Matt Barnes and Iman Shumpert. I believe it's on Matt's podcast. And at one point, they talk about a mutual interest in the Sacramento Kings. I thought it was really interesting. Jason, you have not heard this audio. Purposely have not heard this audio. We'll play it's about 2 minutes.
Okay.
And I think it just kind of gives you an insight as to what was going on when Iman was there and when he left. So we'll get to that. In the meantime, 3 for Madness. Christopher Ladd in for Jay Mars off this week. Question 1.
Gentlemen.
Hi.
Would you consider the Timberwolves a team to beat now that they added Rudy Gobert?
I mean, and defining team to beat, like are they a legitimate championship contender? That's how you take it,
I would
right?
say it.
Okay.
That's not what I meant.
No, what did you mean? Okay, that is what you meant.
But just go ahead and go ahead.
I would say they are on the fringe. Listen, Rudy Gobert, you just look at the numbers, and I know analytics don't tell anything, but the Utah Jazz were a much better player with Rudy Gobert on the floor than with Donovan Mitchell on the floor, talking about by themselves. Rudy Gobert's effect defensively is insane. Karl Anthony Towns moving to power forward is interesting, but you're also talking about, I think, the reigning three-point champion, and I know that doesn't mean anything, but he has really developed into a stretch 5/4 now. So you have kind of those twin towers, but the ability to stretch, and Gobert is still a defensive anchor. Now you have Russell and Edwards and the rest of that crew in the backcourt. Anthony Edwards is one of those up-and-coming stars. D'Angelo Russell, very, very capable. I think that Minnesota absolutely could be this year's Memphis, and maybe even this year's, not Phoenix in the sense of what they won last year, but just a team that they're just going to be a tough out, man.
Yeah, I'm having a really hard time picturing this working. And again, when you add good players, it seems like things should work. But where I like it for Minnesota is foul situations. It's going to happen for Gobert and Towns.
Sure.
So you've got the other guy. Are they making Towns just an outside player? I defensively, everybody would take Gobert.
Sure.
There's some weird offensive liabilities that he has, and they also, oh, by the way, lost quite a bit of other pieces. I know
they did.
And even one other sidebar of this, do you feel even better about the Sabonis trade? I mean, think about what you gave up for Sabonis. Yeah. You didn't give up a pick.
Right.
Yeah, you lost Halliburton. That's significant. Buddy Hield and Tristan Thompson. They lost 5 players, and 4 draft picks. 9 people for Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
What?
I read a really interesting article breaking that down. And it, amongst other things in that article, it anticipated where those picks will fall.
Sure.
And then went in the past. And the point there was, because when I first heard that, I was like, God, what is Rudy Gobert, like 33, 31, something? 30. He's 30. He'll be, he just turned 30. So you'll probably get another 3-4 years of really good Rudy Gobert. It's like, golly, 4 first-round picks. That's insane. But then it said, you know what? When you're a team like Minnesota, much like Sacramento, you don't get free agents like other teams do. You've got to shoot your shot at some point. You have Karl Anthony Towns. You have Anthony Edwards. You have D'Angelo Russell. You did make the playoffs last year. You have to shoot your shot, and ultimately a bird in the hand, which is Rudy Gobert, is far better than what you don't know what you're getting out of that draft.
True. And they'll be one of the most unique teams. They'll be different than
very
anyone else.
Unique.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Offensively, it's interesting. I think Karl Anthony Towns is very much, all he's doing right now is in that gym nailing threes. But I understand why Minnesota did it. I appreciate why Minnesota did it, as a matter of fact. And I don't think you can discount either. They had some front office issues during the year. You've got new ownership coming in there with Mark Lazary and Alex Rodriguez. I think they're playing to win here. I'm very, very interested in how Minnesota's going to be this year.
Just a very defensive-oriented specialist that's been an all-star on a winning Jazz team. I think the T-Wolves will be a winning team. I don't know that he'll be an all-star with them, which is weird. Like, he may be doing the same thing, but I think they're going to be pushing more like Edwards to go with Towns, and it'll be interesting to see. They will definitely be unique, but I feel even better now about the Sabonis deal.
Will Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, now that they're on the same team, will they end up splitting their all-star votes, paving the way for Domantas Sabonis to get in there in the West? Question 2.
Which team will play for a national championship in football first after they join their new conferences? Texas, Oklahoma, USC, or UCLA?
My answer, Jason, to be clear, is the answer I do not want to give. Because out of all 4 of the teams on this list, it's the team that I dislike the most. I'm really, really bullish on what USC is doing right now. I hate it. Jason, you hate USC. I'm not that far behind you. You know that. But man,
I need you to hate them more.
I hate
Can
them
you hate them more?
so much.
More. But that's your choice?
I like who they brought in. I like what I'm hearing out of recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're throwing a ton of money around behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. If you forced me to pick one of those four, that would be my pick.
Yeah, it's probably the right answer. I hate to say it too. I'd love to say UCLA. It's not them. Oklahoma's probably been the most consistently good team. They did lose their coach. They're going into maybe it's by far the more difficult conference than what they've been playing in. They all keep cannibalizing each other.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to be that special. You have to have that great of a team that you don't slip up if you're USC and you're like, we didn't expect to lose at Wisconsin, or Penn State got us. And it's like, yeah, that's going to cost you. Just to be different, I guess I'll pick Oklahoma, but I think SC, unfortunately, might be the right answer.
Blah.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 3.
What are your thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers new tattoo? Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, the Aaron Rodgers.
So this is one of those ones where, it would help if you were able to see it. And if you haven't seen it yet,
I don't understand it.
I think that's kind of the point, man. Like,
He's deep.
He is deep. Aaron Rodgers has to smoke weed, right? Like, I know they test for it, but he has to smoke weed.
Sure.
Right?
Do they test?
Do they?
I think you're allowed to in the game.
Even if he doesn't smoke weed, maybe, I don't know, is he into like some weird like Buddhism, like crazy, like transcendental meditation? I don't know, one of those.
Nailed it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, I'm immunized.
And by the way, nothing wrong with it. Go for it, man.
Right.
Whatever you need to do to relax and center yourself. I'm not talking down on any of that, but he is definitely a unique cat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I expect at some point, maybe at this golf tournament in Tahoe, someone's going to say, "Can you break down this tattoo for us, please?"
You didn't hear what he said?
What did he say?
He said, someday he will.
Okay, well, great.
Even that, like, why is it
like he put it out there.
Yeah. So someday I will grant you your
Yeah,
wishes.
Aaron Rodgers he's just a strange cat, isn't he?
Chris, do you still have your signed?
My tattoos?
Oh.
My signed Aaron Rodgers heavyweights DVD?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Rudy, do you? That's awesome.
It's such a great
You do not have tattoos, correct?
that you know of.
I do not have tattoos. I know he does.
How many, Chris?
2.
He's got the.
He has tattoos.
He's got the time when Manchester United clinched the premiership.
Interesting.
On his wrist. And what's the other one? Is it Sir Alex Ferguson? Oh God, what is that? Is that a panda?
The crust.
Oh,
The former one.
the former one.
Crest toothpaste.
I thought you said the crust at first. I was like, yeah, it is. We'll take a break. When we come back, Chris has soccer tattoos. That's awesome. When we come back, Baker Mayfield's going to be cooking with the Panthers. Good Baker's cooking. Yeah. What does that mean, if anything, for Jimmy G and the Niners? And we've got this sound with Matt Barnes and Iman Shumpert. We'll get to it all next.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Text or call the show at 916-339-1140. On Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Welcome back. Jay Mars on vacation this week. Good for him.
Yeah, Jay needed a
We're
break.
going to find out what he's doing.
He said he was like doing nothing.
Really? A staycation.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, sometimes staycations are so underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
They can be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do this as a kid? You ever set your alarm on days you knew you weren't going to school?
No.
I did. I would do that sometimes, like on Saturdays. I would purposely go to sleep Friday, and I would set my alarm. I think I've told the story
Sounds
before.
like torture.
Yeah, it's because and it was one of those alarms that go, wah, wah, wah. I would associate that like a Pavlovian way where I'd hear that in the morning and be like, oh, God, now I got to get up. I'm so warm. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. So I would purposely.
And that was truly like getting up to get out of bed, unless you had it right by your bedstand or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, or then, what I would do, I'd set it, and then for a split second, oh, God, this sucks. I got to get up. And then I would realize that I could just turn my alarm off and go back to sleep because it was Saturday. So it was this like stupid mental trick I would do. And in that moment, it was like the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah.
I wonder if Jay's going to do that. Probably not.
No. But it's the little joys we get, right?
It is the little
I had
joys.
one of those, I know we've talked about it before, but I woke up, I think it might have been, it was yesterday, getting ready to be, we'd been off for 4 days or whatever. And I woke up, I'm like, oh no, how close is it? Like, is it 4 o'clock yet? Oh, it was like 12:15. I go, yes. Like, I mean, it
was 12:15 in the morning?
Yeah. Like, I went to bed, I don't know, 10:30 or whatever.
Okay.
Like, I had slept like 90 minutes, but I was thinking it was like almost time to get up. And just to go, oh, I still got like 3.5 more hours.
Yep, that's a great feeling. You still have not done the get up out of bed at 12:15, go downstairs, get ready, eat cereal thing yet, right? Yeah, that's the fun one. That's the fun one when you get up. And poor Chris over here, though. Chris has worked like every shift.
Yes, he has.
Imaginable.
Yeah.
And I got to think him getting up. Have you gotten used to getting up this early yet, ever?
No.
No. It's still not, this isn't human.
Yeah, it's just one of the things. But I think now it's easier just because I just accept it,
right?
Instead of like trying to go to bed at 9.
Do you? So you don't go to bed any earlier. You just get crap sleep and then nap, right?
Yeah.
But you're also, I think you and I are like, you're more. If there's no show in the morning, you're night owl.
Night owl.
So like when I get to Friday and Saturday, I go right back to like I don't go to bed at 9:30 or 10 or 11. Like it's just whenever I go to bed.
Although the older I get, the worse. Like when we were on this whole, when we were gone with us and the other family, like
the choking incident.
Yes,
the
famous marshmallow choking.
The great marshmallow vacation. I'm up hour, 2 hours before. It's still I can't sleep. I cannot sleep past 6.
Really?
I do not have the ability to do it. Unless I was really tying one on the night before, a couple of root beers.
Yeah. You live on the edge.
Oh, high C. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield's living in Carolina now. He has gone from Cleveland to Carolina. Interesting. The Browns trade Baker Mayfield for a 2024 conditional draft pick.
Yeah, and basically have to pay him to go.
That's going to be a 4th or a 5th round pick, depending on how much he plays. In fact, for it to be a 4th rounder, he'd have to play 70% of all the snaps. The Panthers will pay just under $5 million of his salary. The Browns will pay $10.5 million. Mayfield agreed to convert the remainder of his almost $19 million salary into incentives to facilitate the deal, and he can earn that money back based on team performance. So that's quite interesting. You know, it was 4 years ago he was the number 1 pick in the draft.
Wow.
And now he's being paid to go somewhere else for what will probably be a 5th round draft pick. It really does speak to the Browns just completely. They either fumbled the draft or they fumbled Baker Mayfield, and I don't know which one it is. I still have Jason, do you not think that this may end up being just a banner deal for the Panthers, and Baker Mayfield could still be a very good player?
I think Baker Mayfield definitely could still be a good player. I think the other part, though, that I think is still in play, Sam Darnold might start.
Right.
Like, this isn't his job. This isn't a guarantee. And Matt Rule's in a spot where he needs to win to keep his job. Yeah. So I don't know if this was his call, but I think the more talent you add, the better chances you have. But, Darnold was picked high. He was a 3rd pick. and getting a second opportunity here in Carolina that hasn't really thrived. Baker Mayfield's getting a second crack at it after being the number 1 pick. They drafted their third guy. The third depth chart guy is Corral that they drafted in the 3rd round.
Yes.
So
coming off a big injury.
I don't think they know exactly what they want, and we've said it and we'll keep saying it. You either have your franchise quarterback or you're looking for him. Jets thought they did in Darnold. Obviously, they didn't. Browns thought they did in Mayfield, and they did for a while until they've moved on. I think they'll get every opportunity, but it leads to what's out there for Jimmy G, and I still think Seattle should have been in play, but Dave, I guess they've come out now and said, we're basically going into it with Luck and with Geno Smith and hope for the best, but we're also playing for next year's quarterback draft class. So it's like, man, where are the opportunities going to be for the Niners and Jimmy G?
Well, before we move on to that, just real quick on the Darnold thing.
Yeah.
I think Sam Darnold kind of stinks. Here's the thing with Darnold. I know you hate that because he's a Trojan.
Nah, it just breaks my heart.
Okay, first off, Sam Darnold's played in 13-13 and 12-12 games, which isn't a big thing except when you consider, okay, last year he missed 5 games, 17-game season, blah, blah, blah. He goes from the Jets, where he completed in his final year 59, because part of it was like, well, dude, he's playing for the Jets. Mm-hmm. Okay. So he goes from the Jets, where he completed 59.6 of his passes, to the Carolina Panthers, where he completed 59.9%.
Improving.
He threw for 300 more yards. He threw 9 touchdowns in his last year with the Jets. He threw 9 touchdowns last year with the Panthers in the same amount of games. He threw 11 picks in his last year with the Jets. He threw 13 picks last year with the Panthers. Now, I'm not trying to say the Panthers are great, but I will say Sam Darnold just has not shown he's close to being good in any level. As a matter of fact, he's hit 3,000 yards passing once. That was his second year. He was 3,024. And career, he's thrown 54 touchdowns and 52 picks. Like Baker Mayfield, at least you can say the dude missed a couple games last year and a couple games his rookie year, but for the most part, he'll play through pain. He's a gamer when it comes to durability. He's gone over 3,000 yards every year he's played, including 3,800 his second year. And not great, but 92 touchdowns, 56 picks. Like I'm not trying to say Baker Mayfield's going to be a Pro Bowler. It's a lot easier for me to close the book on Sam Darnold at this point, which you shouldn't after 4 years, than Baker Mayfield. I feel like Baker Mayfield still has a little bit to show, and you also have to account for the fact that he was playing for the Browns, who can't get out of their own way. There's talent on that team, but they can't get out of their own way. Why are they trading Baker Mayfield? Probably within hours, if not days, of a Deshaun Watson punishment coming down. This whole thing's coming down. They're consulting with a judge, kind of a third party, who's going to lay out what she thinks the punishment should be. Roger Goodell has the ability to go with that, to increase it. It's completely up to him. I don't know what it's going to be. You don't either, but it sure sounds like most leaks we've heard is it's going to be around a year. Mm-hmm. The idea that Deshaun Watson is going to be playing for the Browns this season, I mean, they restructured his contract during the trade. He gets $1 million this year.
They got protections.
They're expecting that. So why now? Why now? And I keep going back to this. Wouldn't it make all the sense in the world for Cleveland to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo at some point if Deshaun Watson is not going to play this year or end up playing 2-3 games, if that? And the Baker Mayfield thing just was not going to happen. It was not going to happen there. Those bridges had been burned. You're telling me Jimmy Garoppolo is not an upgrade from Jacoby Brissett?
Yes, he is, but is he enough? Like, I don't know what he costs. What is it going to cost to get Jimmy G?
I think, yeah. I think there's going to have to be some reworkings and some, much like Baker did to facilitate the trade. Jimmy's going to have to do something similar. But you're talking about a team that's got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And Dearness Johnson, by the way, when those guys were hurt, who did quite well. Amari Cooper, they upgraded there. Donovan Peoples-Jones. David Njoku's been a fine tight end when he plays, and then you have that defense, which isn't the worst, but I say it isn't the worst. It's actually, I think they've got talent on their defense, led by Myles Garrett. You have Jadeveon Clowney, the former number 1 pick, in there as well. You have Denzel Ward.
Yeah,
like you have some players there. The Cleveland Browns should not be a team that's just punting, pun intended, next year because Deshaun Watson's not going to play. This is a team that very much should be in the thick of things.
Yeah, but I know you lost a lot of future assets in getting Deshaun Watson. And are you going to just keep chasing that move if he gets suspended? It's like,
yeah.
And here's where the trick is with Jimmy G, because I think the best stat he has is his win percentage.
Yes.
He's been a winner.
Yes.
But would it be that different? I don't know the answer to that with Jacoby Brissett.
I mean, you're right. It's the winning percentage.
Because at the end, is it just a 1-year rental anyway?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Jimmy Garoppolo, no matter what, it's going to be a 1-year rental wherever he is. Even San Francisco can't keep him. They can't. You can't pay him that much to be a backup, number one.
Is he going to be somebody's number one, though?
That's the other thing.
Like where they say, this is our guy for the next 4 years. We want Jimmy Garoppolo. He's our starting quarterback. No questions asked.
I don't think that appetite's out there right now.
Isn't that weird?
Because I think there's a lot of people that don't know what Jimmy Garoppolo is. And the shoulder surgery's not helping.
Right.
In fact, our old friend Kyle Madsen put out an article. I want to say yesterday they talked to a doctor who's familiar with these and said that, you're not even going to be able to see probably Jimmy throw at an NFL level till mid to late August. Well, that's a chance.
When you don't know what a quarterback is this far into his career, and I'm not saying he's ancient, but he's played enough.
Yeah.
He's not the dude then, right?
But then that's the thing. You look at that's where it becomes confusing. Because Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers don't jump off the page, right?
Right.
But you keep going back to what I think everybody else keeps going back to. He has a really, really good record in the NFL.
Yes, he does.
And when you say a really good record, he's 33-14. He's 33-14, including a year where he came into San Francisco and they were just horrific.
Right.
The year before, he went 1-2, and then the very next year he goes 13-3. He was 500 in 2020. He was 9-6 last year. He's 4-2 in the playoffs, all 6 games with the Niners. Like 33-14, especially when you're considering that the Niners weren't a juggernaut.
Not when he got there.
That's a pretty big deal.
Sure is.
Oh, and by the way, his quarterback rating is 98. Now it's 99 which doesn't jump off the page amazing, but it's also not terrible as well. I don't know. There's what is Jimmy Garoppolo? What is he?
What is he?
All right, we'll take a break. We're going to talk about Matt Barnes and Iman Shumpert's conversation on Matt's podcast here in just a moment. In the meantime, I want to talk to, as we get to once a week, my good friend Shelby at refinancewithshelby.com. You hear me talking about him and Pete and everybody over there all the time, but once a week we get to actually sit down and converse with Shelby. And, Shelby, we were talking about this off air in a situation right now where people are trying to buy homes and you hope the market's opening up a little bit. One problem is they get the number and they go to buy the home. They never shop the number. And you were telling me that is a major mistake financially people make.
Number one mistake that homeowners make is they take their realtor's recommendation on the loan and they never shop it around.
I don't understand why they wouldn't. And if somebody, let's say somebody came from, they're buying a home, the realtor said, hey, Dave, go with blah, blah, blah mortgage. And I called you and I said, Shelby, I've heard good things about you guys. Here's my deal. Walk me through the process. It's not like I'm paying $1 million to you to get a rate shopped.
Yeah, and oftentimes the loan company will use scare tactics to get you not to shop around. And that's one key indicator that you should shop. But basically you would just call in. I would ask you what your credit score is because you would already know because you got your credit ran already with the other lender. And then you'd say, okay, my credit score is a 720. I'd say, how much are you putting down? And what's the purchase price? At that point, I can give you an accurate quote on what it would cost. And most of the time, we're not talking about a couple $100 savings here. we're talking about $3,000, $5,000 out of pocket that you could save by shopping around and finding the best deal.
And because they have most of the information, because you've got everything at your fingertips, you're talking about a process that's like 5 to 10 minutes to figure out whether or not it costs you nothing other than like 5 minutes, but could save you thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Listen, it's really simple. If you're in the middle of something right now, or you're about to be shopping, or you're shopping currently, just take a moment. Just take a quick moment and go to Shelby at refinancewithshelby.com. That's refinancewithshelby.com. Shop that rate. Seriously, save yourself a ton of money. NMLS number 279051, BRA number 01864354. We take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Matt Barnes and Iman Shumpert off their podcast. Interesting stuff about those Scores era Kings next.
Got a take? Make sure it's a hot one.
Take a shot right now.
Call or text at 916-339-1140. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Be in Las Vegas. You'll be there tomorrow.
Yes.
We're doing the shows there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all as part of our coverage of the Summer League quest for a repeat. Can the Kings become the first team to have 3 Summer League titles?
And they're already the first with 2. Now they're going to go back to back.
We're just basically breaking our own records at this point. I want to remind you, Sacktown Sports 1140's coverage of the 2022 NBA Summer League brought to you by Power Business Technology. Find them online at powercopiers.com. I'm excited. I'm excited to feel the buzz, the buzz of the Kings' young squad, right? They had a young squad. They've been fairly young here and there. A lot of you might remember the Iman Shumpert year that he was here.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of we talked about having those savvy vets. And Iman, for what he was or wasn't on the floor, kind of brought a lot of swagger to that team. That was that Dave Yeager, really the best season this team's had in a while, where it really looked like they were a legit playoff contender. They were until they fell apart at the end of the year. Would have still made the play-in had that play-in been around. So Matt Barnes, who does pre-half and post for your Kings on the broadcast, also very big in the podcast world, had Iman Shumpert on recently, and they were taking some questions. Now, Jason, you have not heard this audio.
I have not.
I thought this was interesting to hear, and obviously an unfiltered podcast, so Chris has been nice enough to bleep things out for us. If something slips through, it's 100% his fault. Please send him your letters. Iman and Matt Barnes having a very unfiltered conversation about Iman's tenure with these Kings.
The team that we had, I think that when I got there, I had plantar fasciitis, couldn't play, and people were talking to me like, people in the organization, though, they're like, we know you're not going to be here next year. Shit. I'm like, what you talking about, bro? I'm finna fix this wheel. We finna hoop. What you talking about? Like, I'm like, these kids 22, they want to run and gun, bro. Like, I'm finna love this. I haven't ran. I'm like, I haven't played in a running style offense. I'm like, we pretty strategic in Cleveland, brother. Like, by the fourth quarter, we walking it up, and y'all finna deal with 100 moves because Kyrie Irving is out of his mind. So, De'Aaron Fox is still trying to figure it out. He don't really know what's going on. He could drop 30 and barely sweat. You know what I'm saying? Like, Buddy Hield, I've never seen somebody have so much going on in their mind and shoot that good. Like, crazy. I'm like, he mad at this person, mad at that person, trying to be the leading scorer at the end of the night. He thinking about his percentage, what Kobe think, what shoes he got on, did he pray before? Like, he had so much going. No bullshit. And I'd never forget just being like, bro, let's let him worry about that. Like, you know what?
Right.
For some reason, you could shoot. So we just made it a weapon, bro. Like, we was like all to the point where if Buddy touched the ball, I don't give a what. Like, I'll curse you out if you ain't act like that shot was going in. I'll be damn near finna fight you. Like, with I'm talking about the whole organization. If Buddy touched it, get ready to shoot. Like, it was different. Like, we all knew each other. I felt like we was
relationships with all.
Yeah, the first time we hung out, I'm like, y'all most awkward. Y'all don't like each other. What's going on with y'all, man? I'm asking Vince. Vince Carter was up. I'm Vince. What's going on? He's like, man, I don't know what's up with
like,
you.
I tried.
Yeah, he like, man, I've told him to come to dinner, man. They don't show up to dinner. He like, I don't know what's going on with him.
I don't know, there's nothing crazy and earth-shattering in there, but I think it's those moments that give you kind of an insight when you're talking about culture or lack thereof. That's just a cultureless team. Vince Carter is asking you to come to dinner and you just don't show up.
Right.
Sounds like some dysfunction in the locker room.
Okay, Jay. That was a Jay Billis reference. You know, and then people in the organization, according to Iman Shumpert, saying, well, you're not going to play. Well, what are you talking about? Yeah, I want to play. I want to play. I remember Chris Webber, one of the things he said when he noticed when he got to Sacramento, he said some of the people within the organization were wearing, like, polo shirts of other teams. Like, there's just not a... And obviously, it's a long time ago and a long ownership ago, and
right.
Nobody's still here from there. But I think it just underscores the whole, you have to have a culture. You have to have a team culture, and maybe things are different now. Kind of lets you in on the whole Buddy Hield thing and where his head was at. And, he just really didn't want to be here a lot of the time. And when he was here, he was all over the place. But I always thought the whole Iman Shumpert thing was always overrated. Like, Iman Shumpert. Like, dude, they didn't start losing because of Iman Shumpert leaving. But let's not go all the way to the other side and underrated either.
Right.
Iman Shumpert, Vince Carter, that type of thing. It's the one thing that Vlade I really thought was on the right track with. He just never really got it. But that was maybe his best tool as a GM, was he understood the need for vet leadership and culture.
Because he was that guy.
He was that guy.
Yeah, and he tried that, I think, with a George Hill,
Yes.
Zach Randolph, and certainly Vince Carter, Iman Shumpert, those types of names. I think he was a younger veteran, I would say, when they brought over Harrison Barnes. But, the consummate pro type guys. But that's interesting, though, to hear it from Shumpert, because you're right. It gives you an insight, and we could all say it was good or it wasn't good. Players know. I mean, they lived it. And now you hope. Okay, so Fox was, let me look back. It was a year 2.
Yeah.
Shumpert, he got here was year 1, but that year he was talking about he didn't play. So the next year he played when he was part of more of that group. You hope that some of those lessons and things that went wrong,
right,
that Fox was a part of, whether he was the one or, but like, okay, now he's been around. Now this, like when you asked earlier, is De'Aaron the alpha of this team or a Sabonis or whoever? Well, there needs to be leadership shown, whether they're out there yelling at people. That's not what I mean, but some people do it that way. But team functions, bringing people together, making sure everything's going in the same direction as coaches try to do, but that does so much better when the players do it.
Yeah, you had the buildings, the foundations of a culture there, and it's really what comes down to the ultimate De'Aaron Fox question I always have in my head. He has been given so little thus far. He's had how many different coaches? He's had how many different players surrounding him? It really, you could make that case that De'Aaron Fox, and by the way, different players, you heard this with DeMarcus Cousins before him. How many point guards did he have? How many coaches did he have? Like, we're talking about two guys, and DeMarcus far more, a challenge to himself than De'Aaron Fox is, but weren't exactly brought up in ideal circumstances, and I mean in the NBA.
Right.
And now Fox going into, what do we keep saying, his 6th season? This to me is the most important year of his career. It's not close. He's not surrounded with a title team, but he's got more around him now than he has ever had. Smart players, good guys. There does seem to be that culture there with guys like Harrison, guys like Sabonis. You saw them palling around whatever that winery thing they were doing, and you see him showing up to different. Davion Mitchell's at like every press conference in the front row. It seems like you've got the makings of another cultural foundation there.
Right.
De'Aaron's the alpha and the omega, though, along with Sabonis there. And for me, if we can see second half De'Aaron in the first half, we're dealing with something.
Sure. And that's the hope. That's what they need this to be.
We'll talk to Sam Amick next. We'll recap everything from last week, and we'll head into Summer League. Talk to him as well in our weekly visit. I believe one of our last visits until the season starts. So we'll enjoy that. We'll talk about the Wolves and what they did. Maybe sneak in that Brian Windhorst audio and so much more. Sam Amick is next. Busy time of year for Sam Amick, always is. I think it's approximately a month where it's like not as busy. But this the NBA is great because it's becoming more year round.
Yeah, it's 11 months basically.
Unless you're somebody who covers it, then what am I? I'm getting some time off.
Yeah,
I feel like Sam's got some time off coming here shortly, and then before you know it, boom, we're back to preseason, and God knows what's going to go on with Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
All the other stuff. So from The Athletic, here to decipher some of it, and I believe one of his final appearances with us in this season. Our people and his people are, as they have for months, it's tough every year, but working out some sort of deal. Hopefully we can re-sign him for next year. He's expensive. You know that. Sam's a big name, but he joins us right now. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, gentlemen. Your commentary is comedic, Dave, because, not to do business on the air, but this might be the last visit of the season. I don't think I've shared that with you, but I'm definitely getting my time off starting next week, so it is coming quick, my friend.
What?
Yeah.
I thought aren't you going to Summer League? No?
Yeah, I'm actually there now. So I got in a little bit early. Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay.
But by the time next week arrives, we will be saying hello to the off season, even if Mr. Durant and Mr. Irving have not found new teams. So
Good for you, Sam.
Yeah.
So this is it. This is our final visit until next season if we're able to re-sign you to a new contract.
Well, unless I'm, breaking some sort of agreement we have, then I'll be calling you from wherever the hell I am. But we're here, and more importantly, in the here and the now. Do I remember you saying that? Are you going to Vegas or no?
Yes, I'll be there. Jason's getting there tomorrow. I will join. I'll be there Sunday through Wednesday of next week.
Got you. Okay, I will miss you, Dave, but that's preferable, and I can't wait to see you, Jason.
Wait, when are you coming back?
Probably Sunday or Monday. If it's Monday, I'll catch you for a night, but I haven't decided yet. It's Sunday or Monday.
Make it Monday. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go eat some barbecue Sunday night, dude. Come on.
There you go.
What's going on? Where's Kevin Durant getting traded to? Break that right now.
Yeah, it might as well end with a bang.
You're the Durant whisperer, you know.
The Vancouver Grizzlies are really good place to get him. Yeah, I think it's going to take a while, and even getting out here to Vegas and talking to people, you kind of get reminded that, that the Nets have, no actual reason to do something right now, and that their understandable asking price for him as a guy who's, one of the best to ever do it is so high that they are, they've essentially got, the suitors kind of out on a scavenger hunt to go collect as many picks, and really the picks don't matter that much, but, go find as many all-stars as you can. And if you can't meet that threshold, then they're not going to do the deal right now. So it's wild because it's obviously holding up the off season, when it comes to some of the free agents still available, DeAndre Ayton, chief among them. It's a weird offseason because it feels like it's all kind of suspended.
Sam, did you get any clarity on? Why? How did we get here with Durant? It seemed like it was a chosen place for him and Kyrie to go to Brooklyn. They've had some success, not nearly as much as they want, but why does he want out so badly?
I don't have clarity in terms of what percentage of the blame he assigns to the Nets versus Kyrie. But, it is interesting that when Kyrie opted in, we made the mistake of thinking that was some sort of it was going to have a calming effect on the situation. And then Kevin, basically just, proved us wrong, and he's still asked out. So that led me to believe, and you hear some of this, that he was looking at the Kyrie situation and either deciding that even with Kyrie opting in, it's still, all is not well. But beyond that, just being done, and realizing that what they were trying to build out there is not going to come to fruition. And wake of the James Harden move, obviously, that was messy. then Ben Simmons, we glossed over the Ben Simmons part. I mean, it's nothing personal, but I think if you're Kevin, you're looking at that going, all right, I mean, he's publicly very understanding of all these different people who have, not been able to play basketball, but it's, I don't blame him for looking around and being frustrated by the landscape.
Does it damage his listen, Kevin Durant's one of the greatest players to ever play the game and is still, I would say, a top 5 player in the game when healthy, but you're also talking about a guy who hasn't been the healthiest. He's 33 years old. He's going to command, it sounds like, a huge ransom, and he's a guy that seemingly has happy feet, whether it's Golden State and then the Nets debacle, and that's going to possibly set that franchise back quite a bit. Is that going to matter to teams acquiring him, or do we make too much of that, in the media sometimes, and he's Kevin Durant, so they're not going to care?
No, I think they care, and his reputation and his market, if you will, it's not even remotely close to as toxic as it is for Kyrie. Like Kyrie's learned the hard way that it's really one team trying to get him right now.
Yeah.
But Kevin, I think it's like I said, it's not toxic, but it is just kind of it feels like there's a lot of, there's a ton of respect coming his way with teams obviously saying, my God, he's just incredible. We would love to have you. But then once the discussion comes about what it would take, some of the concerns that you highlighted, Dave, I think then come into play because the age matters, the injuries matter, the history matters, and the idea that, all right, the good news is we could get him for multiple years because he's early in this contract, but the topic of Kevin Durant's happiness has been, a topic of public discussion for some time now, going back to Oklahoma City, to the Warriors, to the Nets, and then here we are. So it doesn't feel like, there's nobody really naive enough to think that, the next team that Kevin goes to is going to be the one where it really clicks and he's eventually, having his jersey retired there and telling the fans that he wants to be there forever type of thing.
Sam, you brought up Kyrie, too. I mean, the one team you said seemingly is the Lakers. Is that on hold, too, because of Durant, or is it just still trying to figure out what pieces can make it work?
Yeah, I mean, Jay, I don't have total clarity there either. And that would bother me more if I didn't feel like, everybody in the media is in the same boat. But I think that the Lakers, they appear to be pondering, multiple scenarios, and the other one that seems to be in play is with Indiana. But there is a tie-in. So Indiana has the max room to go out and sign DeAndre Ayton as a restricted free agent, and they have, they have interest in him. But the Lakers, so that's kind of tangential to the Kyrie discussion, but the Lakers also in the past have been tied to Buddy Hield, and then Miles Turner is a guy that would certainly help them a lot defensively. And so it seems like the Lakers are chewing on all that stuff. But more importantly, in terms of holdups, it's just the idea that the Nets are not, really incentivized to take Russell Westbrook onto their team. Even if you get 2 first-round picks, the Nets want to win because they don't have control of their draft because mainly of everything they gave up in the James Harden trade, to get Ben Simmons. And actually going back to the Houston trade for James Harden, they need to contend now. So they need really good players. And so Russell Westbrook playing with Ben Simmons would not be ideal, not even close. And so I think, the Nets kind of interest level in that Kyrie deal is a problem. Now, that being said, people continue to act like eventually Kyrie will find his way to the Lakers, but we'll see if that ends up being the case.
Oklahoma City has the pieces to get Kevin Durant, don't they? That'd be fun.
They do indeed. Oh yeah, there's a lot of really interesting teams that it's like it kind of stinks that because of I'm not lamenting player empowerment, but the idea that like there's teams that could really be in the mix but are not formally or officially because of the players' lack of interest in playing there. But yeah, the OKC reunion could be an interesting one. And my goodness, Chet Holmgren, looking great early on.
Yeah.
So that could be fun. But, Memphis could be in that discussion. Toronto could be in that discussion. But then the fear, of course, is just, where is Kevin's head at when he gets there?
Sam, how about the Kings, the totality of their offseason, whether that's adding Mike Brown as the head coach? We know about obviously drafting Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter. What do you think of what Sacramento and Monty McNair has done this offseason?
So I wrote it a few days ago, and I meant it, where I keep telling people that I'm much more excited to watch this team just from a basketball standpoint than I was the last team. If you're just talking about putting butts in the seats and getting people to tune in because, they think their team might have a chance, or in my case, you think that you just might watch a competitive game. And I mean, selfishly, it's not that important. But when I go to so many Kings games like I do, I don't mind admitting, like it does get boring when, a lot of nights at the yard, so to speak, when there's just not a competitiveness to the game. So all of which is to say, I like their moves from that standpoint. I think they're going to be, competitive and fun. But as much fun as people had with that one video of the Kings fan screaming, 40 wins.
Yeah.
Like there is an undercurrent here that feels like, that might be a little too true because the West is so brutal. And, so I like what they did. Dave and I have talked offline about this. Like, you've got two layers to the discussion. If you want to have the discussion about how they went, down this road that they never should have gone down in terms of, the types of players they took on and where they decided the ceiling, like the acceptable ceiling was, then sure, you can have that talk, but they've been down that road for a while. And then, Vivek is the one who chose to also kind of, the front office, to their credit, is not saying anything about this. They don't talk privately about this. There's no complaining, but they have no contract beyond next season.
Yeah.
And so whenever you do that, inevitably you are going to create an environment where they want to win now, and especially when they haven't been in the playoffs for this long. So it's a really long answer to your question. I like their offseason. I think it's going to be very hard because the West, with Minnesota getting better and then teams like that, the Lakers, if they get Kyrie, the West is going to be really, really tough.
Well, and people making fun of those guys for saying, we're going to get 40 wins. The last time the Sacramento Kings won 40, Rick Alderman led Brad Miller and friends to a 44-38 record in the 2005-2006 season, about, 18 years ago, 17 years ago. So I'll take 40. That's where we're at, dude.
My first year on the beat, man. That's my first year on the beat.
That's right.
I mean, and you're right. The other flashback I had when people mentioned that is, I remember Reggie Theus, years after he was gone from Sacramento, kind of, I connected with him at one point, and he's basically saying, like, hey, my 38 wins looks pretty good in hindsight, huh?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, 40 would be nothing to sneeze at, but it's, they're going to need 43, 44 to get in the playoffs. So we'll see, if not more.
Well, it's going to be a long off season without Sam, Amick.
Yeah, it is.
Barring breaking news or whatever. Maybe we'll see you Sunday night. Maybe we won't. Don't know. But in the meantime, take care of that lovely family of yours. Hopefully you've got some good vacation plans, and we appreciate you visiting with us each and every week during the year, and I'm sure we'll work something out and bring you on back sometimes towards the end of September, buddy.
I sure hope so, guys. You're always really tough in the boardroom, so we'll get something done.
Yes.
By the way, was your final interview with us today? Are you horizontal right now? Be honest. Yeah, you are. You stifled like 3 yawns, bro.
You got me awake in Vegas. I mean, I did not go to bed early.
That is a good point. We had a feeling. We were talking during. We were having a little off-air conversation as to if Sam was doing some extra work down there in Vegas, which of course you are.
I know we got to go, but I literally was having a few beverages with colleagues last night, and we don't need to talk about what time it was.
Sure.
And and I had this moment where the light bulb went off. And I love you guys dearly, so don't take this the wrong way. I literally was just like, "Is tomorrow Thursday?"
But we're the one place where you can come on and have a couple stifled yawns and be lying in you. It's fine. We're relaxed like that. It's like family.
We got more sleeping to do. I'm going back to bed right now.
All right, buddy.
Nice.
Well, I'll maybe see you Sunday. Jason will see you tomorrow. Have fun down there.
All right, guys. Appreciate you.
See you. Take care. Maybe. A lot of stuff to gather there. When we get back, we'll talk about that. Plus a lot more, including that Timberwolves trade, some of the stuff Sam said about the team as well. Let's recap that next.
The 94th most popular celebrity from Carmichael
How popular do you want to be?
meets a Celtics broadcasting legend.
Celtics are going to go for the win. Everybody here at Golden One Center on their feet.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports 1140.
All right, thanks to Sam Amick of The Athletic. Yeah, dude. Last time the Kings won 40 or more, they were 44-38. Mike Bibby, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Kevin Martin, Brad Miller, Peja, Corliss, Ron Artest, Kenny Thomas, Brian Skinner, Vitaly Potapenko, Sergei Monia, heck yeah, and Cisco Garcia. He was a rookie that year.
Cisco.
Yeah, so anyways, people, I really enjoyed the people. They're going to get all stoked about winning 40? Yeah, actually.
That's not even a winning record.
Yeah, you think? You think? Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, well, guess what? When you win, 28-32 every year, and who knows? Maybe they'll surprise a lot of people. Maybe they will make the playoffs and all that. But I do tend to agree with Sam, and I think there's a difference between being negative and pessimistic and being realistic. And it's just listen. If you told me right now this team would go 40-42 next year, I'd say let's have it. I'll walk away. 100% give me that season. That's a great season. That's 10 more wins. 10 more wins. That's a lot. I'm old enough to remember that Dave Yeager 39-43 year. That was fun for most of you.
You remember that still?
I do. That was a fun year. You know who led the team in win shares that year with Dave Yeager, 39-43. It was his second year in a row leading that team in win shares. Willie Cauley-Stein at 6.7.
Would not have guessed that.
No, as a matter of fact, the last player to have 6.7 or more when it comes to win shares, DeMarcus Cousins, 7.9. He did that once in 2013. As a matter of fact, before Cousins, it was Beno Udrih with 7.2 under Paul Westphal, the late Paul Westphal. Who would have thought that Willie Cauley-Stein has the most single-season win shares of any Sacramento King since 2014? Harrison Barnes was at 6 last year. That's rough.
That is rough.
So just kind of to give you the idea that 40 wins would be just great for this team. It would be a good start. You'd have some momentum going into the following year.
You'd feel you're on the way up. Maybe you've made a good move or two at the trade deadline.
Do you think 40-42? It's funny. Darren on the YouTube chat just asked this. I was just going to say, Does 40 and 42 get Monty an extension?
I would like to say yes.
Same.
I guess there's always going to be context. How did it look? Is it a disappointing 40 and 42? And I know right now that doesn't seem like that's possible.
Right.
But what if they were like the 39 win season? I still felt at the end was disappointing. Remember they were chasing 40, and I can't remember how they finished that year. I think I had that up earlier, where it's like they only had to win like one of their last 6 games or something, and they didn't get it. Something like that.
No, that team completely
was over 500 a lot of the year.
Yes, they completely quit on Dave Yeager. I'll never forget that Trailblazers game when the Blazers sat absolutely everyone, and they still lost by 5. As a matter of fact, yeah, you're right. I want to say they were 31. I got it right here. They were 36 and 36, March 23rd. They were 500. They were 37 and 37 with a win in Dallas over the Mavericks, March 26th. Game 74. That means they just had to go 4-4 the rest of the way in order to finish 500, and they pooped the pants.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking earlier in the year, they were 30 and 26, so that's pretty late in the year. You're
Beating
4
Phoenix,
above 500.
Yep.
And, you win 9 games the rest of the way.
Yeah, that was a rough end. You're right, and that was a rough end of the season. You thought Dave Yeager was going in the right direction. That whole thing fell apart. There was front office and coaching staff didn't see eye to eye for much of the year. Dave was, daving at times, which he could do. It wasn't. I understand it. I understand why he was frustrated. I just don't think he was in a good place at the end of the year, nor was the team. But it's a whole new world now.
I just took a memory that I saw. I was looking at more of those games, and I remember this game standing out. Now I remember why. So they were 34 and 35 going into this game when they hosted Brooklyn, and they got outscored.
Oh, is that the one?
45-18 at home in the fourth quarter, where D'Angelo Russell scored 44, and I want to say it was 26 in the fourth. I mean, there's no business losing that game.
But
they did.
I would say, other than Klay Thompson in recent memory, that's the most ballistic I've ever seen a player go against the Kings.
Yeah.
You could not stop D'Angelo. That game was wrapped. What did they outscore him in the fourth again?
45-18.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's just straight quitting. That's you get outscored 27 points at home.
Yeah, and you lose by 2.
And
just a little bit better defense, just a little, or just 2 more baskets, and you win.
Apart.
You still can fall apart, but you win the game.
It's going to be really interesting for Monty McNair. I hate the fact that he hasn't been extended. There's still time. They should still extend that roster, or that front office, excuse me. But there is a lot of hype going into this season, which is tremendous. While we were gone, by the way, Brian Windhorst won the internet. Now, by now, this is old news. This is old news.
Yeah.
But it's just the way he took that whole studio and his co-hosts on a ride. Which, by the way, was helped by the fact that he had receipts. And then within hours, the Rudy Gobert trade was made. Just helped him. Brian Windhorst is now a meme in a good way. Here's the audio of him taking everybody through what was about to come in Utah.
I'm going to tell you something happened yesterday. The league executives are wondering what the heck it means. And it happened within 5 minutes. In fact, Adrian, the tweet right before, Adrian tweeted about Durant. He tweeted something else. It was a trade yesterday between the Utah Jazz and the Brooklyn Nets. It's a very strange trade. Very strange trade. And you'd really have to be a Jazz or a Nets fan to even know what I'm talking about right now.
Okay.
Nobody
I don't
knows.
even know if
I'm on
you
the
guys
edge
know what
of
I'm
my
talking
seat.
about.
I have notifications turned
They
on, but I don't
traded
remember this.
They have
Royce
no idea.
O'Neal, who is a role-playing three-point defensive shooter, to Brooklyn for a future first-round draft pick. And so you're going, well, what do you care about Royce O'Neal? Why does that matter? Why would the Jazz do that? Why would the Jazz, who have 2 stars on their roster, take a player who's one of their starters and best defensive players and trade him in a salary dumping move? Why would they do that?
To open up space to try to land Kevin?
No.
No.
You say,
No.
why did Quinn Snyder walk away from that job?
Okay.
Stop it at this point. Stop it real quick. Okay.
Do you want me to answer the questions or no?
They are spun right now.
Yeah.
Like, where is he going? What is he doing? we're all kind of looking dumb because they didn't know about the Royce. That wasn't coming into their brains. Nobody knows what Windhorst is up to, and then in his own little windy way, he kind of brings it home right here.
When Danny Ainge, last time he hired a coach, which was Brad Stevens.
Right.
What happened that same year? What did he do? When he hired this young coach who'd never coached the NBA before, and he gave him a long contract, gave Brad Stevens a 6-year contract. Will Hardy, who they just hired, who's going to potentially be a great young coach, they gave him a 5-year contract. Very rare for a first-time head coach to get a 5-year contract. Why? What's going on in Utah?
What's going on?
And that's what people in the league are watching right now.
Okay.
What's going on in Utah?
Okay.
And so I think the Brooklyn Nets and Phoenix Suns need to find out what's going on in Utah as well. Because what else happened that first year that Brad Stevens got hired? Danny Ainge traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce.
To the Brooklyn Nets.
So that trade, that Royce Young trade yesterday,
Okay.
Very strange.
was a very strange trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Gobert gets traded the next day. I mean, in a weird, goofy way, he called a shot, and he didn't just say like, "This is why it was like, it was dramatic, it was silly," but in the end, he called a shot and he provided receipts. Like he hearkened back, he went down the Danny Ainge road. What I'd like to know is if Donovan Mitchell's going to stay. Like, what's the other part of that?
Right, because that's the full teardown of the team.
Yeah.
There have been rumors before, others saying, "No, he's going to be in for the long haul." What is up with the Jazz?
By the way, while that play was happening, my pool guy texted me. Is this weird? He texted me pictures. Oh, he already left. He texted me pictures of my zucchinis are out of control, right? So he was there this morning.
Yeah.
Is it weird for me to say, please take some zucchini? That's okay, right?
No, that's why you did it.
Yeah.
You're growing it for other people.
But
it's weird that he took pictures of your zucchini.
I think, well, because he said, like, dude, your garden, and it is, the garden's out of control. Like, our grapes came in. Oh, my God. We have, like, bushels of grapes now. You like grapes?
Yes.
You a grapes guy?
Mm-hmm.
They're red. They were green at first, and then they became red.
Do people not like grapes?
Yeah.
You don't like grapes, Chris?
No, but I know people that don't like grapes.
I don't know a person.
I know one person who told me that they're like they don't like the way they explode in their mouth when they bite down on them.
Mm-hmm.
One person did say that.
Really?
They don't like, they said they don't like the texture, basically. I don't know how you don't like grapes.
Yeah.
You ever peel a grape?
Yeah.
Just to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you can.
Because you can. We'll take a break. When we come back, speaking of peeling grapes, absolutely no segue here whatsoever. The Celebrity Golf Tournament in Tahoe is coming up here right quick. We're going to go through this and have a little bit of fun. We want you guys to play along, too. We've got the roster in front of us. Jason put this together. And who would you pick as your foursome? We'll do that with the news after that next.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. The only local sports show in the morning. On Sacktown Sports, 1140.
What is this music?
New Strokes.
Oh, okay. So making sure it wasn't like Morrissey or something. I never know. Chris will try to sneak something in. Chris, formerly a huge Morrissey fan. I don't think so anymore, right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Feel like it's so.
Yeah. So are we picking 3 or 4? Because it's a foursome. Are we playing with this foursome?
I think we're riding along. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, and playing.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
we'll pick 4. It's more fun.
Why not?
So 5 total. You're the 5th player.
Okay, that's fine. It's like an inning.
What's our order?
You
You want to go first?
I say we go in order. You know what? Let's let the
Let
guests.
Chris go first?
Yeah. Now,
'Cause
what do
I think I've picked his team.
How do I find this golf roster here?
Just go to American Century Championship, and you'll see all their lovely pictures up there under the celebrities.
Okay.
The game of golf.
Golf. Thank you.
You see them yet?
I've got daily player pairings. Go
No,
there.
you want celebrities?
I want celebrities. Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
And then there's pictures, Marcus Allen, Josh Allen.
Oh,
Anthony
look
Anderson.
at that. Okay, I see it now.
See him?
I'm there. Okay. All right. Play along at home. Christopher Lott. First pick of the draft.
My first pick
Yeah.
is Brian Bumgarner.
That's why I wanted him to go first.
Yeah.
Kevin from The Office.
Mm-hmm. Are you or are you not going to make a dumb chili reference? And not that I'm saying it would be dumb, just at some point. Like, are you going to ask about that scene where he drops the chili?
I would just be like a complete nerd and just ask about all the scenes.
I'm glad you're honest, because I would too.
Yeah. That's why you're playing with him.
Jason, pick a number between 1 and 10.
I can say it out loud?
Yeah.
Or just pick it.
Yeah, just pick it.
7.
7. Oh, it was 6. You won, so you go second.
Okay.
It's like the dumbest thing ever.
I've got a pretty wide list of people here, but I want to make sure I secure him and get Charles Barkley.
That's pretty good. That probably would have been mine. Okay. God, it's so easy to pick him. I want to see, is there somebody else?
There's lots of choices.
There's a lot. I gotta go Steph Curry. I mean,
Okay.
Of course you gotta go Curry.
You're actually going to see a pretty good golfer, too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I might be able to get some,
Yeah.
Are we doing snake draft? I
think that's the fairest.
That's the
Okay.
fairest, I would think. Okay. Only because I think one of my guys is going to be available a little bit later on. Where is he? I just had him here. I'm going to take. Oh God, do I want to do that? I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers.
What?
I'm taking Aaron Rodgers because I think it's going to be fascinating.
He was on my board.
Yeah, it just not out of like, oh, I loved it. Plus, also, I think I get some Kings talk with him too, by the way. But I think it's just going to be fascinating to talk to him.
Okay.
Jason?
My second one that I would like to play with in this group, let's see. I'm going to go with, do I take this one from Chris or not?
Heck yeah, you do.
He's not on my list. Guarantee it.
I know he is. You know what? I'm reaching early, but I want to be entertained as well with Barkley. I'm taking Rob Riggle.
Oh, Rob Riggle.
Thought you're going another way with that. Interesting.
Bam!
Chris?
Oh, so I've got 2 here coming up.
You
correct?
do.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the second pick of the 2022 Golf Celebrity Draft, my pick is actor Michael Pena.
I'm 2 for 2, Chris, on you. I knew he'd pick him.
I don't want to give anything away, but I'm not going to grab him. There's a wrestler in there. I'm surprised he hasn't taken.
See that bottom right? That's my list for Chris.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
I think he's taking the next one right now.
You know what? I don't think you do.
Okay.
No.
Well, this will be interesting. See how well Jason knows me. My third pick, TV show I also love, John O'Hurley.
No, would not have guessed that one.
Terrible pick.
See, you could ask him about Seinfeld. You could also ask him about didn't he host Jeopardy for a bit? Wasn't he one of the guests?
Was he?
Hosts? I thought he was.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
I guess we all have a guest Jeopardy host, don't we?
Right.
I'm going to take Justin Timberlake.
God dang it. One pick. Look, I even wrote him down in tiny little letters right there. Because I honestly thought he'd slip. So you took Michael Pena. Who was the other one you took?
John O'Hurley for Chris.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Dang it to heck.
Hey, you got Curry and Rodgers.
I did, but JT would have. JT, I think, would have clinched like the best. So here's the thing: like, part of me wants to. I feel like I'm contractually obligated as a Niner fan to take either Steve Young or Jerry Rice. I just don't really want to.
Well, then don't.
I know, but
Don't
I feel like
him.
I kind of have
Nah,
to.
don't take him.
No. All right. I have no idea which pick. Oh, I know who I'm taking.
You get two, remember?
That's right. Well, again, I want a well-rounded, fun group, okay?
That's why you went with Aaron Rodgers.
That's why I went with Aaron Rodgers. I want people
I think away from everybody, he would be fun.
I think he would too, and I may be wrong, but I think he just might. I'm going to take, again, I'm taking Joe Buck.
Okay.
I think he would be a blast.
He's on my list.
Was he on your list?
Of course.
Okay. And then with my final picks, I got Rodgers, Curry, and Buck. God, because you took JT. Dang it! I should have picked him. I'll bet you I could have taken JT and Rodgers. I could have taken Rodgers last.
Yeah,
that was a mistake on my part. God, do I want to take? No, I'm not taking him from you. Just because I don't want him enough. But I know he's got to be on your list. I will take with my I'm not taking Jay Billis, although that would be funny. Yeah, all right. I'll take Steve Young. Got to have one of them.
Okay. Yeah, some good quarterback talk.
Yeah. Curry, Rodgers, Buck, and Young. Sounds like a law firm.
Yes.
Jason, your final pick.
I'm going to take Colin Jost.
That's who I wasn't taking from you. I thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I could take him and we could do a trade for JT. But yeah.
Chris?
With my final pick, I am taking Patrick Mahomes.
Whoa.
The second.
Yes.
So you're not taking the Miz? We kind of had him on,
So, Chris, I had your list. This was my guess for you. Pena, who you took, Baumgartner, or how do you say his last name?
Baumgartner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mahomes and the Miz. So I didn't anticipate O'Hurley.
Yeah.
My other candidates, I was thinking Jay Billis, Charles Woodson, Larry the Cable Guy, Miles Teller.
These are for you?
Yeah. Vince Carter.
I was thinking of Vince Carter.
Yeah.
But you got Barkley, Riggle, Justin Timberlake, and Colin Jost.
I got a fun group.
I think you do. And I think, honestly, when everyone's breaking down and analyzing this draft for years, they're going to look back, and I have to wear it. They're going to look back at my second-round pick. That's where I lost the draft.
I got to say, I don't think Jason's is good.
You don't think? Wow.
Because there's one outlier that I think makes it fun, awkward. Not fun, and awkward.
Jost?
No, I think Barkley.
Really?
I don't think Barkley fits in there.
Well, he's funny.
Barkley fits with everybody.
No.
Have you seen him at the tournament?
No.
Yes.
Is he having
he's not the funnest guy.
No.
He had security push my friend.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Did he deserve it?
No.
Okay. I'm standing by my group.
How come Chris Webber doesn't play this thing anymore?
I don't know.
Robbie Gould playing in it. Why? No, he took Brett Baer, the news anchor.
No.
I thought Chris was going to grab him.
You have the best golfers.
Yes, I do. I'm just honestly, I am disqualified from winning this draft because I should have drafted JT second. I could have a Curry, Justin Timberlake, Joe Buck, Aaron Rodgers foursome and just sweep them.
Crimea River.
Wow. When was the last time you went up to this?
It's been a long time.
The same here. I haven't been up there in a long time.
Yeah.
It was fun back in the
It's
day.
a great tournament. It's a lot of fun.
It is. Yeah.
The best time to go is like today.
Yeah.
Yesterday and today.
And today, because there's nobody there.
Nobody there, driving range.
And they're loose. They're playing. You see a lot of people.
The Carr brothers are playing.
Yes.
Alex Caruso. That's like, I'm looking down this list. The Curry brothers are playing.
I almost put Caruso on my list.
I wouldn't hate that. It's just a fun. I would like to know. You know what? I'd like to have one of these guys on at some point because I want to know what the celebrity package is. Okay, so I assume they fly you out. Do you what's your room like? Do you get buffet tokens? What's the gift bag? I'm obsessed with that.
Are they on the second floor in Harvey's?
Right. Is it, and that's the thing, is it different for different people? Is Justin Timberlake getting a different room than
Jason Worth?
Yeah. I'd like to know. Every year we should also award the least celebrity of all the celebs. There's
lowest celebrity on here?
Yeah, who is Dylan Dreyer, the NBC News meteorologist?
She's on the Today Show.
Oh, okay.
So it's NBC. That's.
If so, okay, I know we got a break, but final question. Jason, if you were contacted by American Century and they said, we want you to be one of the celebrities, and it's the same roster,
yeah,
but they're just going to throw Jason Ross in there, would the easy answer, of course, is of course I'd accept.
Yes.
But do you accept because you're like, someone's getting me, it's super disappointing, I would feel embarrassed being next to these people, I can't do it? Would you do it and just say, I don't care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on playing in enough local tournaments where maybe I'm fortunate enough to be quote unquote considered a celebrity and no one even recognizes then.
Right.
Now you're on a national spotlight where you're like, hey, introducing Tim Brown.
Right.
And Jason, who? What?
Right. Yeah. You like the staffers.
Oh, you missed. What's he on? What show? What movie? Is he a singer?
Leezy on the YouTube chat, we'll break here, says Bobby Flay's playing. I don't see Bobby Flay in the search.
I don't either, but could be.
I just want to say, if Bobby Flay's playing, sorry, Steve, but Bobby would absolutely. Bobby Flay might have been my second pick.
I think you would talk to him the whole time.
I would.
And actually ignore your other celebs.
I would. Bobby Flay would. I would actually fangirl over Bobby Flay. Big time. Big time. We'll take a break. When we come back, we've got the news and more next.
know they've been here for a combined 50 years. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Tomorrow's getaway day for Jason.
Get away!
He'll join Sam Amick down in Vegas. Also, Frankie going to be down there.
Yeah. Chris Watkins.
Yeah. Well, I'll be at the... three of us will be, and then you're joining us Sunday, right?
Watkins was very upset with my pick of who would win the KGK hot dog eating contest.
Oh yeah.
We
didn't ask Dave who.
Like everybody here who would win?
Yeah, like our KGK staff.
Oh, Bobby.
Think so?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Bobby. No.
Chris went with Frankie.
Oh, Frankie's too healthy and fit.
Yeah,
not that Bobby isn't, but Bobby looks like he could pound some dogs. Come on. And Bobby's in great shape. I'm just saying I could see Bobby.
Yeah, but it's about training. Like Joey Chestnut's not a big dude.
Like the confidence that Watkins told me I was wrong.
Who did he say?
He said himself.
Really?
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, it's me.
Maybe there's a challenge that's to be had in our Airbnb.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think it'll be Frankie and Chris at the Airbnb on their own Friday, Saturday, most of Sunday. Then you and I join them Sunday, and then we're full strength. And then I think we got to go. We got to have dinner or something Monday.
Get some glizzies, huh?
What's that? I'm afraid to ask. I don't. Do I want to?
Hot dogs.
Oh, okay. I never know with
in
you.
Vegas.
Yeah, I'm not getting. No, we're going to. I got to take these guys to John Mole's Roadkill Grill. The one thing about Vegas I enjoy is their barbecue. Which, of course, when you think of Vegas, you think of barbecue.
That's what I think at first.
Understand that. We'll all be down there. We'll be doing the shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sacktown Sports 1140 coverage of the 2022 NBA Summer League brought to you by Power Business Technology. Find them online at powercopiers.com. Right now, it's time for the news. La, 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 la. All right, a couple things to get to. As always, we start with the calendar. Today is a few things, Jason. It's Global Forgiveness Day.
I forgive you, Earth.
National Macaroni Day.
Oh. Mac and cheese is pretty great.
Right. What else? Like okay, so you got Mount Macaroni more. Salad.
Yeah, but macaroni salad's not as good as mac and cheese.
I agree.
There's a big drop off.
I totally agree with you.
I will say, personally, a great macaroni salad beats an average macaroni and cheese.
I don't think so. Is there a great macaroni salad?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like what he's saying, if it's like a top...
What's in a great macaroni salad?
Well, I will tell you what's in my macaroni salad.
Okay, please do.
So in my macaroni salad, I have very, very, very thinly diced celery. Same thing with the onion.
Good with that.
I cut up little squares of jack cheese.
Okay.
And then, depending on the crowd, I might put a couple hard-boiled eggs in there, but that just depends on who's what, when, where, and why. Some dill pickles. I'll slice those up. So you've got your, did I lose you with pickles now? And then the big mistake people make with either a macaroni or especially a potato salad is you put your dressing in the other bowl first. Some people just pour so it's mayonnaise, a little bit of mustard, maybe some tiny bit of vinegar. No sugar. No sugar. People do sugar. I hate
in macaroni
that.
salad?
Yeah, they'll put a couple. Look at any macaroni salad recipe, and almost all of them have like coleslaw. They have sugar. It's disgusting.
None of this is selling better than mac and cheese.
But what he said, I think, is important. I agree with you. You're correct that macaroni and cheese is better than macaroni salad on the whole. But he said a top-line macaroni salad is better than an average macaroni.
Would you consider, what is the one in the box? Like Kraft Mac, like just that powder?
Yeah.
That's still good to me.
See, for me,
it's not the classic, like,
it's not.
obviously.
It doesn't taste disgusting, but it's all, like, for me, I want the Velveeta squeeze cheese, macaroni and cheese. That's just. But you're talking, Jason, you're also related to some of the greatest cooks in the world, and I can almost guarantee when you think mac and cheese,
that's
you
what
think
I'm
a
thinking.
giant casserole dish with, like, breadcrumbs on it.
And that is obviously better.
Obviously
better.
I
I guess I'm waiting to taste a great macaroni salad.
Oh, well, okay.
Challenge.
Challenge accepted. Thank you.
Hope you're ready for some 850 macaroni salad tomorrow morning.
I could. You know what?
I am.
I'll tell you something right now. I could eat a good macaroni or potato salad for a little bit of breakfast.
Oh, sure. No
Nothing
problem
wrong
with
with
that at all.
I might have to bring some in tomorrow.
I would love that. Yes, I would love to try your macaroni salad. National Strawberry Sundae Day.
Yes.
At the highest, maybe number 6 on my list of Sundays.
When's the last time you had a Sunday?
Had one last weekend.
Yeah.
On Sunday.
Like Friday. Sometimes I'll go by McDonald's and I get the little Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's $1.50.
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Listen, let me tell you something. McDonald's
macaroni salad.
Still underrated for soft serve. You just roll through McDonald's and get soft serve. National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. And finally, National Dive Bar Day. I had a feeling that'd be everyone's had a dive bar, right? Have you ever had a dive bar? No, you have never had a dive bar. I guarantee you Chris has had a dive bar.
All my bars are dive bars.
The dive bar is more than just a place to kick back and relax. It's where we mark out life's plans, celebrate its successes, and make memories to treasure. How to observe National Dive Bar Day. It's sponsored by Seagram 7. So have a 7 and 7. That's lame. Just use hashtag National Dive Bar Day.
Hit it, my people, at Round Corner.
Is that where you go?
I haven't been there in a long time.
No. Where's your go-to now? Do you want to say?
Oh, the Limelight.
Is it?
It's always
That's
been
your
the
dive
Limelight.
bar? Is the Limelight?
Well, no, that's not my dive bar.
Okay, I was gonna say
that's my go-to bar.
It's not a dive bar. They still do the. Do they still do the games there? The card games.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about it's like an Eagles bar now.
Nah.
So it's just like ugh.
Oh, is it?
Can't even
really?
go there on a Sunday.
Jason, you have celebrity birthdays?
I do. Would you guys like to participate here?
I love it.
Chris and Dave. All right. Happy birthday today to WNBA legend Lisa Leslie. How old is she turning today, guys?
I'm going to say 51.
48.
Lisa Leslie's turning 50 today. Congrats, Carmichael.
Oh, I nailed it. Wow. Just
right.
destroyed Chris on that.
Congratulations and happy birthday to Ringo Starr.
I will stay out of this because I know it for a fact.
Okay.
77.
So, Dave?
82.
He is 82 today.
Really?
82 years old.
Comedian Jim Gaffigan. Happy birthday, Jim Gaffigan.
56.
54?
Chris nailed it.
Wow.
56. Kings legend, former King, Ralph Sampson.
Oh, gosh. I would say
58.
I'll go 59. I was going to say 58.
62.
Okay, haha.
And last but not least, Chuck Knobloch.
Oh.
How old's Chuck Knobloch turning today?
He hit Keith Olbermann's mom in the face with the baseball.
Did he? Attaboy. I'm going to say Chuck Knobloch's turning 54.
56.
54.
Wow.
You guys did well today.
We actually did do very well. And happy birthday to Ringo Starr, 82.
That's awesome.
Paul's 80-something. Yesterday was the anniversary of John and Paul meeting when they were, I think, 16 and 15 years old. John said, hey, would you like to be a part of my band? Paul said, yeah. And
I got a little bit of talent.
Yeah. They did okay.
Yeah.
The Beatles, they're okay.
Actually, Liverpool sounds more like this, Jason.
That's it. Okay. Yeah, really? Wow. Chris, a huge Beatles fan. Huge Beatles fan, Chris is. I feel like you don't like the Beatles. I feel like you think they're overrated.
No, I think they're fine.
Really?
Yeah.
He's giving them a fine.
Chris will join us again tomorrow as Jay Mars is out all week long. Jason with us, and then off to Vegas next week for Chris, for Jason, for Sam Amick, and for me. Stay tuned. Jim Rome is next for me. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day on Sacktown Sports 1140. Bye-bye now.